guys defeated Nalkara.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she kind of collapsed on top of Fluffy, and before she started disappearing, causing causing her to receive a lot of damage in the process. Uh, for a while, you were talking to the invisible Lokar, who was even flirting with Kale for a bit, and an attempt to exchange the ring for something. Vundel, during this conversation, managed to find himself a flying saucer. Uh, but the conversation was going poorly, and suddenly a battle erupted in the room. You guys ended up winning, and discovered that wasn't exactly Lokar. That was a simulacrum. Much like what happened with Viren, when it was killed, it just dissolved into snow and ice and water. However, it did apparently have the abyssal ring on it, and Will picked it up. Uh, you guys managed to, by way of a thorn coin, take that flying saucer that Vondel found and bring it to Neverwinter. It is the Windstar's problem now. You spent the night, because of the various madnesses that many of you had suffered from. Will ended up putting the Greater Restoration into the Void Stone, and started curing himself, and I think others, wasn't he? Didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He's
Yes.
running around touching people with it.
Mm-hmm. Kale,
Hale didn't notice he did it.
Yeah, Kale, meanwhile, stole some letters from Viren's room and started and arranged to get them translated eventually.
Hey, Kale doesn't have to be away from the party to not bite him anymore. Hooray.
While you guys were figuring out what to do, you ended up going to the clubhouse. And I'm hearing an echo. Hold on.
I'm not
That's
hearing
weird. I'm
one.
not seeing anybody flush up. I just heard an echo from me.
Is your stream on? Do you have stream open with sound?
I always stream, but it's never with sound.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. So you guys end up going to the clubhouse and discovering that you still have a favor owed to Scar, that dragon person who's apparently one of the children of Tiamat. While in the clubhouse, or more accurately, Loggrass Library, Will ended up stealing himself a figurine. Vandal wandered around putting light on stuff. Frock traded in the 9 Live Stealer for something new. And Kale offered him his own personal services to get the letters translated. And he and Lograth have wandered off somewhere. And I believe that is where we left off.
Okay, so they're gonna be busy for a while. I guess I keep stealing.
Sure, I'll distract him. You keep stealing.
Yeah. You see some potentially angry looking imps glaring at you every once in a while.
Will goes, look over there, and then when they look back, Will is gone.
They don't even have to look away. Will's gone.
No, dude, some of them keep staring at Will, but he's gone.
You feel like there's something sitting on your head, but you can't see it either, and it can't see you.
It's confused.
It's just a closet.
It's like, why am I moving? I'm not moving.
Phaedra is going to, during this hour, she's going to say, I'll be right back. And she's going to do what we talked about outside a session and then come back.
Hooray.
Alright.
Hooray.
It's up to Viren if he comes back with.
I mean, Viren still doesn't really have a way of moving around freely.
Yeah.
We have a saucer for that.
So
We have a saw and some regen.
Wait, Phaedra, you said you're going to go to Valaris?
No, I said I was Oh yeah,
I
talked to you about that out of session.
Yeah, and I said that's fine, but in session I'd already mentioned that They were recommending you not going to Alaris by yourself because of time dilation issues.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Then she'll wait, and then she'll do it.
You don't want to split the party right now. Is basically the thing. But basically, I'd assume that that's the first thing you're gonna do as soon as
That's fine.
you're gonna take a minute to go do that after as soon as everybody's safe on Alaris. Is what I assumed. I apologize if I misread that because I thought I'd already established that. That's
How
the
about
good
we
idea.
do this? We let her go first. We wait like 20 seconds and then we go in. By that time, it will be done.
Years go by.
Yeah, like what's time like
50
in
years
here?
have
Does it hold
passed.
still?
It's hard to tell what's going on with the time dilation right now in terms of here. They basically have just told you that there is an issue and you don't want to split the party right now.
Fader will sit down and read the book then for an hour.
All right.
Progress.
Yep. How long does that take? 24 hours?
24 hours,
48
48 over a
7?
week.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just say if there's ever any downtime or extra time, she's going to be reading that, and it'll take a week.
Frock, what are you doing currently? Because you're in you're in a demiplane at the moment. I'm not sure how Frock would feel about this. Aw.
Oh wait, yeah.
And Urk is playing music.
I'll just be like, this is a library, right?
It's a library, and you can see imps and the occasional quasit phasing in, watching you.
I'm gonna look for books on dragons, and then I'm gonna read them.
Oh, there's books on all kinds of dragons.
Silver dragons,
There's even books specifically about silver dragons.
like Sylvie.
Yes.
Silvers. The silver.
Yeah, you find several on silver dragons. So, some of what you would consider positive, and probably at least one that's very negative, that would be considered very negative to you, such as a recipe book on how to properly prepare silver dragon meat.
I burned that book. I
And
burn it right in front of Logref. I'll look at you and then I'll like.
Logreth is elsewhere at the moment, but if you attempt to burn or damage a book, and an angry imp comes along and smacks the book out of your hand and rescues it and moves it off somewhere. Anyone else got anything they wish to do?
I was just listening in. I was trying to get to my phone as real quick. I could so see Quentin just running into Lograf's room while midway of what's happening right now. And just burning the book right in front of him.
Yeah, but Frock doesn't know where Lograf's room is. And the library is easy to get lost in.
Hey Frock, do you have a good sense of smell? Maybe you might be able to sniff him out. Who knows?
Why?
Shouldn't be that hard. I don't know, to burn the book in front of him? I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny because I could actually see it happening, just running into the room, bursting open the door, and just like, what the
Anyway. My
Anyway.
character's meditating at this point.
Meredith is
Waiting.
sort of getting flirty time with Scar.
Does it look like there's any specific seat around here that Lograf would sit on?
This is his library space. Pretty much every seat in here is something that he can sit on.
Alright, every seat that is not already taken will is gonna damage them so that they will break the moment someone sits on them.
Sawing the legs like most of the way.
What's more, as soon as you leave the first one that you've done, a group of imps comes over and starts fixing the damage you've done. They look very annoyed, but they don't know
How
where
do
you
they
are.
see me?
No. They saw the damage done to the thing, and they basically they're basically keeping track of the library and making sure everything is in perfect repair and that the books are in the proper place or not being damaged. So they're always watching. They don't see you, but they saw the damage to the chair.
I'm half expecting Will noticing this to now just do everything he can to fuck with the imps.
I have 8th level spell slots. That if I really want to fuck with them.
And there is a closet that attached itself to your head when you were visible, and is also invisible with you. It's not letting go because it doesn't know where you are, other than the fact that it's underneath, that it's on top of you. So
basically, guys, you can't have any fun in this library.
It doesn't
Fun is
go
illegal.
Oh, no,
invisible
no,
with
no, no,
me,
no.
and I never said I went invisible.
No. It's invisible. So
Okay.
no. They can have fun. It's just that there are things that are making sure that things get repaired, but they're currently getting annoyed about all the
No,
work that
so
they
no,
have
but
to
there's
do.
fun police, so there's no fun.
Kale's having fun, isn't he?
I mean, I don't know.
Just working.
He's busy.
Did you give Eminent the bulging camera? Spam it. Jeez, I forgot about that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the bulging can of spam?
It's in Kale's inventory, but I gave her the cheese. I don't know. Does she want the bulging can of spam?
Will wants it.
That was her response in the chat. She's. It's up to you. Like she
I mean,
can.
I think I would give it if Will wants it. I think I'd give it to Will because I'm
Okay.
sure he can figure something out fun to do with it.
Yep,
Let's find
I'll
a
put the
ventilation
cheese on the back then.
system.
How many wheels is it?
I don't remember if I even rolled how many wheels of cheese I got. I just have wheels of cheese on my inventory
Oh.
sheet, so
I'll just put wheels of cheese on.
I don't know how many wheels of cheese it was.
Does it list
Was
the weight?
Kind of cheese, or is it just?
It's Arkenfeldian cheese. It was
Oh.
from the monk temple. I don't remember.
Ah. I'll just put wheels of
So
Arkenfeld cheese.
give me a 1d4 and we can determine exactly how many wheels of cheese you picked up at the time, or that's you still have left, I should say, because
Yeah.
you have 2 intact wheels of cheese left.
So 2 wheels
Here?
of cheese. Two wheels of cheese to Aminette's bag of colding, I guess. Although they're wax, so they don't need to be. Probably don't need to be refrigerated.
Correct.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Will, you can have my can of spam. I believe in you finding a good use for it.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
Okay, so Will is gonna go up to Aminet. Could I have some cheese?
Sure.
Oh God.
I need a couple of slices of cheese.
She pulls out a dagger and she'll hack off a nice little chunk for him.
You're gonna prank with really good cheese, aren't you?
How many slices of cheese can I procure? 5,
Well,
6?
let's see. If she's cutting out she gives you like an 1/8 of a wheel.
I mean, I'm thinking they're like dinner plate size.
Yeah,
Wheels.
like a big
They're
wheel
like
of cheese.
Yeah, but he's gonna cut them into slices.
That's fine. She'll give you. I mean, cheese will keep for a little while.
And if you
yes,
if you put them in the
especially
bag
if
of
you store them
colding.
correctly.
Yeah.
So Will is going to then disappear, and
Oh God, here we go.
he's going to sneakily open books and put slices of cheese between the pages,
Oh,
and
Joe.
close the book
Roll
and put
sleight
it
of hand.
back.
Roll sleight of hand.
Oh God. That's gonna go real poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that I have fractions now in my inventory.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
1 7/8.
That's a 20.
Yep, that's what I wrote.
Ooh, I love this song.
Nice. The imps don't seem to have noticed this.
Your library will smell of cheese.
Even already the smell of
Yeah, I don't know what kind of cheese it is, but we could just say it's one of those really stinky kinds.
Well, it is
Well, it will
Arkenfeld
be
cheese,
stinky
so
eventually.
it's whatever kind that you feel that they would make there. I thought it was like actually I don't remember.
It's probably mostly more like a Swiss.
Yeah. 'Cause
like,
think
if I had
that's
to
what we're
guess.
talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking like what kind of cheese is like prominent in like mountain or cold cultures.
But
Cheese or-
but like it's also vaguely based on like Alsace-Lorraine region. So like it could be any kind of cheese.
a Swiss Alpine cheese.
I mean, it's sort of like a German-French area, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just gonna move over to the other side of the room. Take out the little pocket knife. And attempt to open a can of Span aimed away from him.
So,
Towards a bookshelf.
by other side of the room, do you just mean the alcove that you and your companions have been meeting in, or are you?
He's gonna be away from the companions
So you've
towards a
you-
bookshelf.
He doesn't want to
you-
endanger
you've been
them.
wa- You've been wandering through.
I don't want to
the-
endanger them with a can of Spam.
You've been wandering through the maze of the library. Got it. And you might not even know where you are exactly in relationship to them.
If I don't know where I am, how will people know where I am?
Well, after you do this, I have a thought, but I will
Mhm.
wait till after to share.
All right. So you pop up in the can. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's gonna be a rancid smell.
Yeah, and also a bulging can will also kind of
Explode.
Yes.
explode.
That you're supposed to open these underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
That's how
Yep.
they open that weird, nasty fish.
Yes, you're supposed to open these underwater.
Good
But
to know.
because if you don't, it's going to spray out. But this is why I
Mm.
specify that Will is aiming at a bookshelf.
Yeah, but you're still gonna have to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Oh,
Is it disease or poison?
It's a bit of. Could be considered a bit of both.
I'm immune to both.
Oh God, you are immune to both. Okay, I'm just gonna have you roll a Constitution saving throw for something else.
This is like 10,000-year-old spam, like, or something. I don't know how old it is.
Well,
Yeah, actually, it's about like 12,000 years old, something like that.
fuck.
Yeah, so Will doesn't throw up but from the smell of the putrefaction that just erupts from this thing and sprays over the books. You suddenly hear very angry chattering from imps.
Will is gonna toss the can down the corridor, make it roll.
oh god.
And then it's gonna come back to the group. Kind of wash his hand with a cloth or something if he has something on him.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because the only way you can find Will is by smell, and he
Yep.
just opened something nasty.
Yeah,
But
so
he aimed it away from him.
it doesn't matter actually. Do you guys know what? Let's see. So basically, what's coming around the corner? Well, long before Will gets in sight of his friends, everybody in the group that's not currently elsewhere, gets a smell approaching that's like hot sun durian mixed with garbage mixed with septic scent odor. It is horrific.
Worst smell you've ever smelled.
Oh dear God.
Everybody gets so the closer he gets, the more likely all of you are gonna have to roll Constitution saving throw it right now.
Come on, Will aimed
I-
away from himself. I
It does.
specified.
It
Yeah,
didn't get
I
on. It
walked
didn't
as
get on
far as
you,
away
but
from him.
you're still getting the odor all over yourself. There's a
Will
price for
cast
this.
Rudecraft and makes himself smells like wildflowers.
So now there's a wildflower smell mixed in with this.
Smells like fish and roses.
And roses.
You guys remember that commercial, right?
Mm-mm.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
That's an American thing. I don't know about anything.
All right. Hold up.
Oh, there's a YouTube coming.
Yes, there is a YouTube coming.
Does
Yeah,
anyone have
Vader just-
prestidigitation?
Yeah, I can just prestidigitation around us. It's fine.
Will can create a gust of wind with Druidcraft to push the smell away.
Oh God.
Make the downdraft somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still hearing the angry yelps of imps and quasits, all chattering at each other because of this.
Sounds like they had an accident.
What is that?
Smells like they had an accident.
Yeah, Fader's just kind of wrinkling her nose and like trying to read. Her eyes are probably starting to water a little bit.
Oh yeah, Bundle would have just started casting prestidigitation to make it just smell nicer.
Lockrath must be doing something weird in the back.
Yeah.
Where's Kale? What are they doing?
It's like you guys suspect Kale.
Well, y'all went off together. I don't know.
There's multiple reasons why I hate this place.
The disgruntled screaming coming from down the hallway, but it's
You
all
see
like
an imp
sound
crawling along the floor, dying.
Shh.
an infernal and demonic. Who speaks those languages?
I speak Gnomish.
I speak infernal.
So you're hearing the imps complaining horrifyingly about the smell and going, "What the hell caused what in the nine hells caused this?" And some of them pitching the idea of a demon lord somehow getting in. Another one saying, "No, it's from this can." Oh my god! They're all complaining about a can. At this point, and you're hearing that that incoming and chatter.
Looks at Will.
Will doesn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, Fader's just trying to concentrate. Goes back to trying to
Something
concentrate on
thuds off of your head. Finally, Will. It looks like the closet passed out that was sitting on top of you
Great.
from the smell.
Yep. And that's what you get.
Oh well, now you can get into more hijinks because your babysitter's gone. Now it's the time to steal.
Will's gonna hide the closet under the carpet.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna hide him in the closet.
No. Just he kind of just pushes him under the carpet. It's a noticeable bump on the carpet. He doesn't care if someone notices that.
Amunet kind of like cocks an eyebrow, whispers to Will, "You've never hit a body before, have you?"
Well, I mean,
Have you?
sometimes you just don't care if they're found.
Eric has some interesting things in his inventory.
She
What?
giggles and shrugs.
Yeah, in fact, I think Urk even probably has an imp on his shoulder at the moment, getting high. I think Frock is too far away to have known any of this is happening, but he is hearing shouting and infernal, even from where he's at.
This place definitely got more lively.
Rock's just wandering blindly through the library.
Can I find I'm trying to find a book that talks about speeding up dragon growth.
You definitely would find one. Well, you'd find it an arcana, a book on Arcana talking about different spells and potions that might be able to speed up a dragon's growth, along with some warnings of potential side effects, usually psychosis, coming along with that.
Oh, that's fine. I'm a cleric. We can fix that.
You find pamphlets about is yours too big? We can make yours dragon-sized.
I'll ask Scar if I can keep the book. It's not her book, so I guess she'll see yes just to fuck with Lograve.
She's ignoring you.
Okay.
She's busy entertaining herself with Meredith at the moment.
Of course, it's are all dying, so I'm just gonna put it in my backpack.
Give
Well,
me sleight of hand.
Will you cause the plague in the library?
Do I have advantage because they're all dying?
Actually, you do have advantage at the moment because they're distracted. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I need it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean,
Except that there was an imp that has been fixated on watching you, Frock, and immediately takes the book from your hands and yells at you in Infernal.
I go, achoo! Oops! Achoo! Oops! I'm sorry. And I cast Abjure and Extra Planar. Sorry, I sneezed.
I thought the sneeze was part of it.
Yes, it's part of the casting of the spell.
What's the what's the DC?
Wisdom saving throw. The DC 8. What? Since when did my spell save DC become 18? It's 18.
Okay, let
Dang.
me double check something. I rolled one thing. I don't know what the imp stats of an imp are, if it gets a +2 or not. So if I've got a
What's
+2,
your
it
charisma?
survives. But if not,
It doesn't die, it just it gets afraid and doesn't look at me, so I can stealthily pocket it.
ooh, it only has a +1 to wisdom, which means you just you just did that. But it is aware of the fact that you took the book.
Yeah, but like, I don't have the book anymore. Now I do, so well, who knows? Hard focus.
What's Frog's charisma modifier now?
+3. Which means everyone within 10 feet of me gets a +3 to their saving throws as well.
Does your amulet gives a +1, doesn't it?
Yeah, what amulet? Of the VOT? Yeah, that's also +1, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's why you have an 18.
So that's plus, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we have a 6 proficiency now.
Oh, proficiency is 6 now, my initiative should.
Gods. Anytime you're near me, what's my initiative now? My initiative is a 15 anytime you're near me. That's unnecessary.
That's perfectly reasonable.
But when I roll a 1 and still get a 16, that's unreasonable. Nice.
So eventually, Lograth returns, along with Kale, who, in addition to getting those letters translated, also now has some fancy new teeth.
Did you go to the dentist?
I mean, I did have to open wide a lot.
Oh
No,
my.
I didn't say that. Don't worry about it.
Kale has a grill.
Yeah, he now has his bites are now considered magical.
No bonuses to the attack. Just they're magical now.
They've now become magical.
Got a magical smile.
Yes, he does.
It's my charisma. It's just all in my teeth now.
Where do you hold your charisma? In my teeth. Specifically the right one. Right canine. Top right. That's where I keep it most of it.
Well, I mean, if he kept it in the left tooth, that'd just be sinister.
Exactly. Alright.
Yeah, Cal just comes back, sort of stretches. He's like, all right, ready to go. Yes, I have all of the blank forks and the one for the Shadowfell.
I forgot to delete it. I'm doing it now.
Question on the forks. Like, if I does a blank one technically, is that attuned to the material plane, or do I need to attune one to the material plane?
I'm going to go with blank forks are technically attuned to the material plane.
Okay.
I think I put that under control.
Just so I have a way back if I need to, like, you know.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now it's up to date. I just want to make sure I didn't, like, forget to delete anything and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good.
Delete that. Delete that. I could delete the bulging can of spam. Cal might comment on the what in the world is that smell?
That is a good question.
Even Lugrat's wrinkling his nose. I suppose one of you decided to have some fun, now didn't they? He looks around for Will. Will, are you visible?
He said BRB.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Well, if everybody's ready to go, can we swing by? Oh, I had it written down and then I deleted it. The magic shop. Real quick on Alaris, and then we can head that way, Scar.
Scar just kind of looks at you. Do you have a way of getting yourself to the magic stop?
Yep.
From here.
Yep.
We just don't have a way of getting to where you need us to be.
So I guess you want to come with? Or we can come back. But I have a feeling it's better to stick together.
She kind of nods and is thinking about it for a moment. I suppose you have items there that you desperately need and would aid in our quest.
Yes. So if you're okay with it, just need to make 2 stops and then we'll be on the way.
2 stops?
Just gotta go to the magic shop and then just pop back and bring an item to somebody. That's it.
She thinks
Should
again
take
for a moment.
few minutes.
That might be a lot longer depending on the time dilation.
We were just
Right.
delivering Viren's cloak, right? We don't need to do that. Well, unless we
Yeah.
were going to bring him back with us. But he said he still can't get around, so.
Phaedra thinks for a second. Well, Viren does have access to the clubhouse. I can tell them that we'll leave the cloak in the clubhouse, and they can get it then.
She kind of says that that's the problem. Coming back into the clubhouse after setting out on this could be a bit dicey. I can come with you in order to transport you without having to come back here, so that we don't have to worry about that aspect. From wherever you are to wherever I need you to be. But if you come back to the clubhouse, well, there could be an issue.
Fine issue.
The problem is time dilation and also potentially alerting that which we don't want to be alerted, that's of your comings and goings. There are signatures, you realize, coming in and out of these portals you make. The way to the clubhouse and from the clubhouse. That could definitely get you pinpointed and alerted.
We might have to hold on to the cloak then.
All right.
Sure, if Aaron will be safe. He's honestly gonna say it one of the safer places here.
I don't understand all this time stuff, so if you say so, dear.
I also don't, but I know it's not something to mess with. All I know is it's currently faster there. That's about as much as I figured out.
All right. Well, then we'll heed your advice, Scar, and then we'll just do that and then be on our way.
She nods. So, where is this place you need to go?
I literally just deleted it when I was updating the bag of holding. I believe it's called Holston's or something. Magic shop in Andorra.
Yeah.
But
give me a
yeah,
second. I wrote things in it.
We have a door.
This is from
that
back
goes-
in the day when I was writing things session to session and it wasn't as much on the other notes. So
We have a
scattered.
door to the gnome.
Yeah, that's where we're going. We have a door.
Yeah.
There.
Back alley door.
I literally just deleted it, and I have a horrible memory. So
Gilbert Holston's House of Magic in Andros.
Thank you. Yep.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I copied it. Yay! I forgot. Thank you, Turtle.
Yeah, because we had two.
Or actually, I guess
coupons.
Gilbert and not Gilbert. But
Yeah,
whatever.
we had
Gilbert.
2 claim tickets.
Gilbert.
Oh, okay, she has Gilbert written on, but whatever.
Well,
There's a T at the
I'll
end.
go by what the
sometimes
GM
things
says.
aren't spelled
Yeah.
out, so apologies.
It's
No.
okay. So it's
We'll call him
billowing.
Bertie.
It's a billowing displacer cloak. That's of course that's Rex. A wisdom headband, and you already bought the shield of spell saving.
It should just be the 2 items.
Yeah, and you already paid for it, according to
Yes, we did.
this. All right.
Phaedra's passive is now 25. Have fun with that.
Does the displacer cloak need attunement?
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah.
He already
Sorry,
said
Rick.
I can't use it, so you're not getting to use it.
I thought we were going to be able to get it back to Viren, and I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Well, we have it picked up now, so now it won't get sold to somebody else.
Yeah, I mean it's been, it's been a long time since you were there. Well, it's been
No, it
like.
hasn't.
Oh, that's right. No, it's been enough time for it to be built. Because remember, time sped up. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let me look at the.
You said it was 10 days. That's...
Yeah, I'm gonna
10
ask what the
days.
date is while we're there, so we
Yeah.
can see how much time has passed.
Yeah, so it's it was 10 days to build that, 1 to 2 weeks, which is 20 day up to 20 days to make the other item, since the weeks there are 10 days. I'm trying to I'm trying to find the notes I wrote down about what day it was when you did this.
God, waiting for weekends with a 10-day week must suck.
Well, they would break up break days differently. It's like, you work for this amount of days, and then you get some break time, and then you work for these. So your weeks will be broken up differently. Hold on. I think I've got a timeline thing listed out here. When I updated my calendars. Yeah, hold on. I'm not. Sorry, I'm hearing a lot of background noise. Here's my timeline lists. Lara's timeline. Let's see if it has any of the other. No. View. Oh, that just says that information. Hold on. I'm going to need to open something else up. That's the. Oh, well, that is the right one. I think. Where did I put this information? I know I wrote it down at the time. Sorry.
I mean, if it's not important if it's
Is
going to
it
hold
really
us up.
Yeah, I'm like, is it important right now?
It was like a curiosity thing on my part, but if it's going to hold us up, you don't need to stress over it.
Yeah, sorry. I was also getting, as I said, I keep hearing noise, and when I do that, I can't focus. Sorry. So you guys are heading back there, right? Because I seem to recall that it was it summer or fall at the time? Do you guys remember the season? Because that's how Lars does things.
Well, I wasn't here for when they placed the order, so I don't know.
It wasn't winter.
I don't think it was cooler around the thing.
I mean, I know when we left Arkenfeld, it was end of winter. There was still some snow in the woods because
Maybe.
Varen used
Yeah,
it
maybe it was
to
fall.
make his thingy.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
then we should be fine because I know what day it is now there. Yeah, so so it's probably been 2 months for them. By the time you get back there. So they've been holding on to the stuff for a while. But it's been a while. So you guys are, as I said, I asked you this before. You guys are all just going directly there to the doorways now.
I mean, we're all going through the door. We're going to the magic shop.
hmm
Because you said we had to all go together in a group, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's sorry. Sorry, just don't know what's going on right now. Brain is just going haywire. Wrong people on this map. Mostly, I was looking for the map of where you guys were headed. Why does Shiori's thing keep shrinking?
I have no idea.
She's a dwarf at heart,
I do speak
because she's
dwarvish.
married to one. Isn't it true that when you get married, you start to become like your partner?
Welcome back. Okay, so let's see. You guys. God damn it! I had the page open at the right spot. And now I have misplaced it. Ah, there it is. Gilbert Holstein's. Yes. All right. So, Scar uses a transformation ability to make herself look like Meredith of all people. Mostly to blend in, feeling that her regular form will not cut it where you guys are headed. That just got too much attention.
Is Meredith not coming with us?
Meredith is. Hold on, I was grabbing her token.
We just need 2 of her now. Oh no, I don't know which one to bite now. Well, fuck.
Yes.
Scar, where are you? There you are. Yeah. So she is actually now looking like Meredith as well, making it look like there's twins. You appear in the alleyway, behind the magic shop. So this is that's that continent that has that. It was, by the way, it was winter in Arkenfeld because it was summer in the south, which is where most of my time setting is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the time period I was going with because it was summer. It is now considered fall. So yeah, it's actually only been but it's been enough time for these things to mix. So we're good. You appear in the alleyway, and it's a bit cooler here than the last time you were in this region.
Your mic is kind of cutting in and out.
Oh,
You
man.
know, I checked the thing again.
Testing. I hate how long it takes to connect now. It takes like a half a minute to connect. Can you guys hear me?
Can
Yeah.
now.
Okay, good.
Could you press the cogwheel on user settings? Go to voice and video. And just check the input sensitivity. Is it on automatically to determine input sensitivity, or is it on manual?
It is now.
It is what now?
On automatic determination.
Okay.
Apparently I had it on manual.
Yeah, no, I have it on manual too. I just speak a little bit and turn the slider. Currently mine is on minus 78 decibel, but that's just because I have a different microphone. You can put it on manual and just talk normally, and then put the slider to the point where if you talk very silently, it still manages to pick it up.
Yes.
Yes.
I have
Mine's
the
like negative
worst volume
94.
control.
Because automatic will sometimes miss certain things, and if you have manual and put the sensitivity way too high up,
I mean, I have mine on automatic, and it picks me up really quick.
It has its moments with you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I heard that at least.
what do you guys do now? You're standing outside a shop. Well, standing up behind a shop, rather. In the alleyway.
We pick up an
I mean, do we really need to, like, were we just gonna jump in and jump out? We don't need to, like...
Yeah.
Alright,
Just
if you
grabbing
didn't
stuff and
want to
leaving.
roll
I
play
don't-
it out, that's fine.
I didn't think we were gonna, like, role play it out, because it was kind of inconsequential.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna grab our shit and go.
Yeah.
Alright.
Throw money, grab shit, leave.
Well,
You
we
go
already
in-
had... We already threw money.
Money already thrown.
Yeah.
All right,
Just grab it.
pick
You go in,
pick money back up.
The owner is surprised to see you, figuring you were going to be back here last month when he'd finished the order, and is glad that you came back because he has a policy of if you're not back for a year, that eventually he will sell the item, even if it's already been paid for.
Yeah. Fuck you. Mind your own business. Goodbye.
Will.
What?
It's just Will.
He's a gnome. It's our language.
Okay, we'll just smile at him with really shiny teeth.
Okay, now I have to do something. Continue.
Anyway, once you get back to the alleyway, Scar is getting prepared to send you to where you need to go.
Excuse me. Before we go, can you tell us where our destination is?
I'm sending you to the Kandala Federation, to the city of... Oh, hold on, I just had that up a second ago. Where is it? To the city of Gambahar, the capital of the country.
I mean, that's the same place that crazy bird guy wanted to send us.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry.
at least the same
grabbing my
country,
shit.
we don't know. Probably know he could have wanted to send us on the other end of it.
Can you
It
type
sounded
that in
like
the
it had
chat?
really nice beaches.
Yeah. Can I get a spelling in the chat, Chris?
I get an F in
Thank you.
chat.
Can I get an F in chat?
F in chat.
What was it? Gris like had a key on her keyboard that didn't work, so we would have put it in chat for her, so she could copy and paste it.
I forget what that was.
That
but
was
we
an
did
older
that, I remember
keyboard.
that.
Oh no, that was two of us in the party, I believe.
Oh yeah.
It was, I know I didn't have a key that was working right, and I think somebody else was too.
Yeah, so we had to put it in chat so you could copy
It
and
wasn't
paste
an
it.
F though, it was a T.
Yeah.
Yeah, T.
Yeah,
No, you couldn't spell the T.
it was
okay?
me and Rick. We both had, our T's were broken on both of our keyboards.
So stupid.
Ah, memories back in the day. Okay, we're going to Gambahar. Okay, Kandala Federation. Okay, Gambahar. A temple,
Well,
right?
that's terrifying.
Yes. Well, a temple is one of the things that it is. It's also in that
A
country
gift shop.
a guardhouse. It's the base of the scale guard.
Guardhouse.
So I would
What's
very
this?
much advise against causing any trouble there. And she kind of looks at Will and looks at Frock.
What's a scale guard?
They are what the town guard of that city are called, of that country are called.
Got it.
Okay, and why did you look at me?
How's your trouble?
How? On a course of justice. And
That's
slight
exactly-
Yes,
xenophobia.
yes, trouble.
Fair enough, I'm trouble.
Yes, you too. When we can find you.
I mean, I don't think you can not find me. I'll be where
Yeah,
the
you are rather loud. I mean,
I'll
it's not
where
like-
the kitchen where you think the kitchen is.
Clank, clank.
Frog, I can make you invisible.
I'm a walking kitchen, then.
A walking kitchen.
Oh, that reminds me of the scene in SpongeBob where the very buff dude carries so like there's this scary metal sound coming, and then like nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, goblin.
Uh,
I know what you're talking about, but
Okay,
Yes.
let's go murder something. No, I mean talk with something and solve problem.
I mean, yeah.
I mean
This-
murder, probably murder.
And then murder is when we fail.
this group we're dealing with, are they working more underground? Or are they working above?
Are you asking if they're
They will.
dwarves or not?
No, I'm asking if they're more, if everyone in the city knows about it, or if it's being
About-
more hidden.
About what? She just kind of looks at you.
The Church of Unity, I think it was, or Union.
Union,
Union.
Unity. She kind of shrugs. I think it's Union. I believe it's the country to the south, but they have people in there trying to encourage those to join their church along with the actual country.
And how do you wish to deal with this situation?
Mother doesn't care how you do it, but stopping them from taking souls that are rightfully hers is her top priority.
Where are these souls going if they're not going to her?
That
Does
is
the Tars-
unclear. But they're not showing up in Avernus where they're supposed to be going.
There's the Tarson dealing with souls as well as minds.
There is some that, from what I understand from those of the Church of the Unity, that souls are not going to any afterlife. They are staying with the Tarstan to be part of the Union.
The hive mind.
It's effectively
Yes.
trying to absorb everything.
Mm-hmm.
That is what Mother thinks, too. So if she wants this stopped, and I believe you want this stopped. So you're able to repay your favor to her, to me, by doing something you want to do. A
Seems
win-win.
efficient. And we get to annoy the Tusk in the same process.
So,
Careful, Will.
what
You
what
get to
would be-
annoy a giant crystal.
what would be the most effective way for us to disrupt this?
That is for you to find out. That is part
Yeah,
of the
well-
deal.
Cal
Alright.
sort of like frowns. He's like, well, I don't know if I can incite rebellion in those that are mind controlled.
Level the entire building. Got it.
There's no building, it's a country.
Level, the entire country. Got it.
Face bombs.
Wouldn't be the first time.
That somehow does not surprise me.
Well, see, you get me
was the
installed in the
accident.
government, and I'll cause a complete societal collapse. I almost did it with my own country.
I did almost end it by accident. How hard can it be to do it on purpose?
Accidentally makes it stronger.
Ah, shit.
Failing upwards.
Yes.
Hey, isn't that just the Iron Rose's motto?
Yeah,
I think so.
sound about right.
It's either that or does it swim so problem now?
So, are you ready to behave? She looks again at the two small individuals.
Fuck you.
From the side, you hear Ahmed say
Bah.
never.
Dirty.
But we'll go with you.
Oh, I'm not going there. I'm sending you there.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Same
whatever.
difference. We're gonna kill everyone anyway. Dirty cultists.
Don't kill the people of the Federation, I advise you.
Wait. Is the Federation is the country that we're going to?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a
That's
country?
what we're trying to. That's the country we're trying to help.
Level?
No.
Oh.
If there's no one in the country to be in trouble, didn't we fix the problem?
No, that's the opposite of the problem.
Instructions unclear.
Murder?
Everyone is dead.
Instructions unclear. Genocide. We are helping them and going to the and stopping the ones from the south that are part of the unity.
You see Phaedra's got like the new headband on, and she's just looking at people left and right while you guys are talking.
She's like, how did I end up with such a bunch of idiots?
Yeah, she's just like, oh god. She's just like, oh man.
Did I used to be like that?
Wait a minute.
my God,
Cal's really an asshole. What?
She's more insightful now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're ready,
I
Scar.
will
Send
be-
us on our way.
I will be right
Do you
back.
wanna
I have
have
to
one
use the
base?
bathroom. Bathroom break.
Okay.
Did
Good gods.
we know if they only had one base? This Church of the Union.
No, they have multiple ones because
Cool.
there's talk of
Let's
one
go
in
from
Neverwinter.
one to the other and just destroy it.
I'll be
Yeah.
ready.
Like that seems like the
Instant
easiest way. Hey, where's this Church of the Union? Oh, it's over there. Gone.
Tactical nuke
Drops
inbound.
nuke.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe this party. Just tactical nuke inbound.
Mm-hmm. Tactical nuke inbound, but you don't know.
If there's no problem to solve, didn't we solve it? No. It's gonna be easy, guys. We're just gonna walk in, bonk, bonk,
Doubt
boom.
this. This is the Tarston. And
Yeah,
it
the
probably
Tar-
is being guarded by one of the top four.
it's hard.
Remember, there's a position open in the top 4.
It's
There is.
just a nerd. Like, come on.
don't know that.
So like Dwight is running.
Aren't
Is
all
one
of
of the
the
top 4.
Yeah,
No.
isn't the Tungsten? That's the guy. That's what's. The
Well,
upper
don't
wizard
we
was
don't we
talking
know
about,
at least
right?
who one of the top 4 is? Lokar, right?
We know one of them is Lokar, but we don't know.
Yeah, we
which
already
one
beat
he's
his ass
It might
once.
be all of them. To be fair, it might be all
Did I
three of them
send
right
a
there.
lightning bolt at this dude?
No,
Would
because
that
he's
be
got
a
the
good
pink.
idea?
He's got pink crystals, so lightning wouldn't do jack to him probably.
Yeah.
What about heat metal? That might be.
He's a
wearing metal.
mage. He's probably not wearing metal.
I mean, he might
don't know
wear a
what-
necklace or something.
Yeah, if he has
Yeah.
a ring or an
Or
Or a
amulet or something.
headband of intellect,
Would-
you know.
would it-
they're
Would
weird.
it make it interesting if I used healing word on him?
No. You could
What is
silence. Do you have silence?
Would greater
No,
rest?
but
Well,
I have-
once they're
have
fully
flat
infected and growing crystals, there's no cure, right? You can't greater rest to them and cure them.
There is a
do
cure, but
have
it requires a
fantastic
lot more of a
killer.
process.
Mhm.
What does that killer
Like-
spell do?
Like I think Viren or Fawn got infected at one point in the Church of Bahamut, and he had to be there for a good bit for a moment to get healed.
Concentration to the description. You tap
And
into
that was
the
only, like,
nightmares of
a few
things
hours.
being within range to create an illusion.
I mean, my con score is high enough that I doubt I would have to be really unlucky. Oh, we did do Curious Beast, right?
I mean, if y'all are within
Well, yeah.
Guys, do you think that he might pass a spell save DC of 19 of a wisdom
Potentially.
spell?
Maybe.
Saving.
It's
Because if
always
so, I
possible.
can make him fear his own nightmares.
You could try that.
Could make him do that. Yeah, I'll try that. Fuck it, that sounds like fun. I'll tap into his nightmares and then make him suffer through it. And if that don't work, I'll just put gas all over him with cloud kill.
What's it called?
Mm,
A
Actually, I'll put
Bane
that there
also
for
might be
people
good.
So people know that.
Send
Just
it on
straight up
the line.
Bane.
Guys, try not to get too close to him.
I'm gonna
Especially
be
if I'm
right
fighting
next to
against
him, but it's fine. I can dodge your spells. He
Good,
says very
because,
confidently.
I have a feeling it's going to be several sessions before we
be
get anywhere near this guy. So.
poison.
Oh yeah.
No,
I know,
we're
but
just
I'm
gonna
gonna
walk
use
in
my-
there, kick in the door.
We're just gonna walk in there.
12
We-
HP.
We're gonna yell GG easy, and then
Hug. No, we're gonna have to more likely find some root out what's in the place.
Sounds like
already
we're
that
not
going
even
to.
going to that country. We're going to the country to the north of it.
Yeah, we're going to
Or
the country north of it. We're
We
probably
gotta
have to
do
root out what's going on in there, and we
gotta do
might have to go
travel?
south.
travel.
Yeah, travels. If we want to ignore travel, we technically can, but we usually just do it because it's.
We
Whatever.
could just ghost walk.
Ooh, are
I
we
can't ghost walk.
moonwalking? Can we moonwalk while ghost walking?
I mean, I
And if
guess
so,
you could.
does that mean I'm just walking forwards?
Technically.
Isn't that how
I don't
moonwalking
know.
works?
Technically, you move
That's
backwards.
unless you go upwards, because unless you're going upwards and backwards, so you're floating upwards while doing the moonwalk, just flying into the sky.
I mean, we could do
Imagine if
that
that was
cloud
a
thing too,
cloud.
and fart travel. I mean, Will, do you have that prepared?
Hey,
Well,
Will,
no.
random question. If Urk was turned into a cloud and I went into somebody's gut as the cloud and then went out of the cloud, what would happen?
Probably wouldn't
no-
fit because cloud is still a gas, and you wouldn't be able to fit all of your gaseous form inside of the person.
So would he
Also-
explode then?
No, I don't think so. I think
So,
there's
Yeah.
if it's a
specific.
mass to volume type thing, imagine
Yeah.
your mass spread out in the volume of a cloud, which is not very dense at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
what
All
happens
right, I'm
if
back,
Will
guys.
went into it?
Would
Hi.
be too much for the lungs.
I still don't think you could huff the entirety of Will.
No.
No.
Uh,
Important discussions going
the
on here.
will. Off the will.
You could not huff the entirety of Will.
At least not in one puff, at least.
It'll take a few. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're talking about huffing Will.
Are we waiting for anyone else?
No, well, Rick's muted. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
We had
Sorry about that.
just the most productive conversations
So,
about huffing Will.
Scar's just sending you there. There's no more questions that you're asking her.
How many bases do they have?
yeah.
What?
How many locations do you want us to crush into dust?
She was basically just said the Church of the Union.
Is
Yeah,
there
but
one
is that,
church
like,
though, or
one
do they have
church?
multiple
Yes.
locations? Do
She
they have
said
franchises?
that they have a whole country, and that your purpose going down there is to figure out exactly how what they're doing and how they're in basically.
So we're spies.
So
Sort of,
we're skipping all side missions, right, and going directly to the last boss.
Yeah, we're going straight into the capital. Kill
Anyone
the
who
king.
stops us dies.
Problem solved.
God damn it.
Kale sort of gets bored of the conversation and starts flipping through a sheaf of papers he has.
Kale, you were a king, right?
He kind of glances up. Yes, why?
So if we kill the king, can we make you king? Is that how that works?
Kale decides he's like, usually it's tied to a bloodline, but they could be democratic. I don't know anything about their political structure.
One thing I know about Kale is that he's a royal pain in the ass.
He sounds like he knows what to do, so.
Guys, get it?
You guys seem to frown upon when I try to cause revolution and an insurrection, so...
And this
Funny
time
joke.
it's okay. This time we'll allow it.
Laugh.
This time I don't think we can.
You do
Anyway.
it by accident all the time.
Let's go to this weird ass church people.
I guess I would ask before we leave, Scar, is there anything you feel is important for us to know that we're not asking?
She seems to think for a moment. No, I think I've given you what data I can.
Wow, this is all you knew?
Well, a lot of it has to do with this is what your job is when going there.
Yeah, sure.
Wha-
Send us
what-
misinformed. Perfect.
What is the racial makeup of the country that we're going to? Not that it matters, but...
Oh, to the Federation. It's fairly well mixed. They have a bit of everyone from Condalis. Lots of Tabaxi, humans, drow, lizard folk, Threekrin, Kuatoa, Thurigur, dwarf, kobolds, Erkokra, orcs, hobgoblins, goblins, and even furbolgs.
Kale just nods. It's like, well, then, not like,
This is what she seems to know. She doesn't seem to be
Yeah.
deceiving you.
I'm more like, yeah, just making sure because she said that's all the information I can give. I'm curious if she knows anything that she can't give.
It's hard to tell.
Alrighty.
She at least seems curious to be honest about stuff. It's hard to tell if she is indeed holding stuff back that she can't give. She's definitely being honest about what she can give. So.
All right. All right, let's go.
All right. So she will create basically a portal and essentially bamf you all there. As the mist clears, you find yourself standing in front of a massive statue, clearly to Tiamat, all 5 heads spread out. And a few clerical types seem to be startled. Like, one of them, what appears to be a dark-skinned human woman, puts a hand over her chest, like, oh. And she kind of, like, bows before the group of you. I said, oh, you must be emissaries. I don't think anyone... I think Vondel might not understand what the language being spoken, and I think Kale and Amunet also might not understand the language spoken. Who was here for that other previous adventure when we sent you to Kandala?
Will.
We'll hand over his Gandala translator to Vondel.
I think it wasn't it like pushed into your head?
Was it? I thought it was just a little stone he had.
Oh, that's right, it was.
Yeah, I thought it was just a stone.
All right,
Yeah,
was
pushed into my head. No,
what
thank you.
Talon was. Shuri, was it you or was it Greg?
Was Gamma.
Gamma.
Gamel. Oh, that's right, because Gamel's shapeshifts. So, but she's speaking in a language the rest of you don't understand.
Who's gonna give Vondel the translator?
But
Why?
she's like,
Because
you know,
Will can't be bothered to talk to these people. He's gonna say "fuck you" and walk past them.
she like bows again before you, and it's basically Vondel from the conversation what she's saying, even though she only heard half of it. You got to get the idea that no one in their right mind who isn't allowed would appear before a statue of Tiamat, so therefore you must be emissaries of Tiamat somehow and allowed to use such transportation. So therefore nobody's being alerted to your presence. That's
I
the
mean,
problem.
So
technically
Kale can't
speaking,
understand
we
her,
are.
so he's not paying attention to her at all. He's looking into the papers.
I guess I'll translate what I know. What
I mean,
what I do.
technically speaking, isn't Scar like a daughter of hers? So we are technically.
Yep.
Yeah, technically.
So tell them yes.
Nice of
I-
her to send us to a place where we can't understand a lick of what they're saying, Cal mutters.
I think she already expects that we are just emissaries.
And Meredith says in Draconic, it says, yes, we don't speak the local language. Do you speak Draconic? And the woman descended looks like, oh, of course, Draconic. And she's immediately speaking in Draconic to those of you who can understand Draconic, which I believe
Ah.
is maybe half of your party.
I can.
None of my characters.
Nope.
I can understand it.
So,
The
Kale,
very-
Frack, Urk.
The hating goblin on this religion.
She kind
Aw.
of like bows again. It's like, some of you look very, very strange, but I am sure that the Mother of Dragons has picked you all for particular reasons. I apologize if you could not understand what I was saying. There are plenty of people around do speak Draconic and Undercommon, along with Candalis. Candalis, by the way, is the local version of Common.
Perhaps
So-
those who can speak with them maybe ask about any information they might have.
So, I mean, they weren't expecting us. Do we really want to tell them why we're here?
Just tell them mind your own business and let's get out of here.
Kel just sort of sighs and he's like, we were sent here by Scar on a mission. Are you familiar with her?
Scar, and she thinks for a moment.
Not
I'm
true.
afraid not.
Well, she named herself as a daughter of Tiamat, and she had told us that we had business in the country to the south of here. He's sort of like being vague in the hopes that, like, if she says, "Oh yeah, I know about what's going on down there," then he can be more open.
Oh, to the south. You mean the Church of the Union?
Yes, those bastards. Those people.
Cal nods. Yes, we're supposed to investigate them.
Excellent. Well, I'm certain good luck is in order. If you are very, very much emissaries, as you appear to be, she says, and she kind of bows to you again, I imagine that you might be able to talk with the consuls themselves. They might have a lot more information. They are the heads of state, after all, and have to deal with the church at times.
Cal just nods and like that would be lovely. The more information that we have, the better off we'll be, I'm sure. I mean, some of them want to go in guns blazing, but I find at least diplomacy up front is useful. So yeah, and I guess if y'all are good with going to the consul.
Yeah, if you relay the
More
information.
Yeah, he would
more information,
translate.
better.
You know, since he's
Yeah, both my characters can't understand.
he's
any of
used
them,
to taking
so-
the diplomatic role since he's, you know.
The more knowledge we have on on the ones to the south, is the better it is.
I so badly want to be like, how do you feel about rebellion? No, just kidding. See, I'm not treating you well. How do you feel about rebelling? No. Anyway, no. To the consul.
The cleric escorts you through the main halls of the temple, past the various what looks to be like guard barrack sort of things. You occasionally see people with dragon masks, basically looking out towards you. The ones here appear to all be red in color, wearing various clothes, and some of them are like coming and going from the entrance of the building as she escorts you. As you get outside, you discover that you are in a decent-sized city from the looks of things, and one that has more in common with Emlarin than many of the other cities you've been to recently. While the buildings are stone instead of metal, many of them seem to be built tall, and there seems to be plenty of underways that completely cut them off from the sun.
Impressive.
Moving through the streets alongside the occasional scale guards, from what you've heard, are rather large stone, well, humanoids. They've got, like, more dragonborn like faces. Or perhaps they're meant to simulate the masks, but it looks like there are golems, stone golems, on patrol as well.
Is there any obvious like tech, like cars and stuff, or is it still carriages and horses and
It
foot?
appears to be instead of technology from Lauren, it's like magical versions. So you see the occasional hovercraft that it's covered in ruins. That as it's passing by, those of you with detect magic up, I believe Phaedra, your eyes would immediately pick up lots of magical spells enchanted on these floating structures.
Really quiet.
Yeah.
Did you hear my answer?
Yeah.
Answer? Yes, city. Seen one, seen them all.
I hope whatever information we get will be useful.
Will doesn't even understand the language anymore, so he's just like not turning his
Yeah.
ears off.
Yeah, like yeah. that kind
All
of thing.
sure isn't listening because she doesn't understand unless they speak one of those languages he does, but she's going to just be keeping a constant eye out.
Yeah, I
If
guess
that makes sense.
for an Ominet will too.
Will is just keeping his, normal eyes open.
Like, are we being followed? Is anybody acknowledging our presence?
Is
Yeah, how
anyone
many
starting
people
to
are
cast
staring?
Fireball?
Yeah.
All right, if we can cast fireball upon us for the upkeep time.
Yeah.
Does
We should get
anybody look like they
magnetized
got in a
that.
fight with a bedazzler?
Someone look
So
like
far,
they did
the people walking by seem to be not alarmed by your presence here. Occasionally, you'll get some weird looks as you're walking, but for the most part, you're not like being stared at or anything. It's like you look unusual and you're unusually dressed, but this city it's a melting pot. It's got a lot of tourism, that sort of thing.
Are we being followed?
Will
Roll a perception check.
can Will pick up a brochure from one of the tourist stands since this is a tourist attraction?
Oh, I'm
Jesus,
still.
Phaedra.
You don't appear
That was
to
Ominet.
be.
That was Phaedra.
Ominet.
You don't appear to be followed, but you do see one of those golems just walking slowly down the street, which would intersect your particular path at the moment, like coming up from behind you.
Just takes note. Doesn't say anything.
Do they lead us? Still?
Oh. Do what lead you?
We're being led somewhere, aren't we?
No. You're being escorted out of the temple.
Oh, sorry.
Onto the
I thought
street.
they were going to lead
Sorry.
us further.
No. She has duties at the temple. She was just showing you out.
So we're on our own to find the console?
Yes, as
warm
you
invitation.
as you survey the city, that particular stone golem gets closer and stops a little bit from you. Its head just like angling downward, with a big like red crystal like in the middle of its face, kind of like as if it's it's almost the entire face itself, but there's mostly stone. And it kind of like gazes down at you, and you hear a voice in Kadalis, which right now Vondel's the only one who can understand, asking, "Hello, foreigners. Where can you be escorted today?"
The closest cosmetic and perfume shop.
We want to go to the consoles, right?
Mhm.
I suppose we
Yes.
could do that too.
Right. That's what I asked.
I mean, honestly, are we gonna just walk up to the console and they're gonna be like, "Come on in"? We don't have an
Yeah.
appointment.
We can make an appointment, possibly.
Yep. We can force an appointment.
Cal sort of just makes a face and like just goes back to looking at the papers.
Vondel, are you gonna ask them?
Yeah, I just said I did.
Okay. Uh, the thing just like turns its big head towards you, and you see like a little flash of the red crystal before it turns and looks towards the tall buildings, uh, spaced out around, and you see that it's looking up towards the tallest of the buildings, not that far away, and says, "The consuls live there, in the Capitol building. Do you have an appointment with them? Are you a diplomatic party that has gotten lost?"
We're an envoy of Tiamat.
Emissary.
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 Ah. The consuls will be informed of your arrival. You may follow me now. And the stone golem starts to walk.
All right.
Alright, let's
Like I
follow the
said.
golem.
I figured by mentioning that they would really want to meet us.
It said that they should be. They're informed of our arrival, and I guess they might meet us.
That's good
I
to
mean,
know.
we are kind of emissaries of the ones of their god,
Yes,
apparently.
I mentioned that.
So,
As you pass by the street, you do see various stores and stalls. You even see a somewhat of an open air market with people selling stuff. You see a few more temples. Like you can see, definitely make out the shape of another temple dedicated to Tiamat with big spaces for like guards and whatnot. But you also see smaller temples to other gods, like lining around. So it looks like there's like it's not an enforced state religion, unlike what Will would have seen when they were in Kandala some time ago. Nor is it nor is it arranged the way the Fire Kingdom was, with all those like shelves and whatnot. Because those basically look like inverses of each other with shelves and tiers. This is more open, and people don't seem to be. You don't see people in what looks like how to put this caste attire. The way that you did visiting Kandala. Like the people here, the people in the stalls are all dressed differently from each other. There's a lot of like desert related garb because you're in a desert land, so you're probably going to be wearing looser clothing or things that cover your head and different. But some of them are wearing like more pops of color, different braiding, all sorts of stuff, and it's like so people are not. They don't appear to be bound by caste. here. They appear to be more open, shall we say. The only deviation from this, of course, is the scale guard, and that's, seems to be a conscious choice of more visible relationship to people to show that, hey, these people are guards, they are keeping an eye on things, keeping you safe, that sort of stuff. As you're brought up towards what appears to be the tallest building in the city, you see that in addition to the stone golems that you've seen walking the streets, there appear to be more clockwork-looking iron golems standing out front, flanking the building, keeping an eye on things. Like, very well protected. There are statues, some statues outside. Some are of tabaxi. And you see other that appear to be of drow. Standing proudly and tall. As well as the occasional statue of a dragon, which looks more of the chromatic bent. The stone golem escorts you to the entrance, where there appears to be a glowing sigil with another green-colored stone attached to it. Phaedra, with your magic eyes, like as you're being escorted through the city and all that, you see lots more examples of magic and magic being used for everyday life around here. Like, there's a lot of spells in this place. Lots of different, like, some are like alarm spells, some are like spells that give people things levitation. Others are, very protective wards, all sorts of stuff like that. This one, it's hard to pin down exactly what it is. I usually lump it in with illusion, but it might be like evocation or abjuration. I don't know exactly what it is. But it appears to facilitate communication between 2 points. Like, kind of, would be whatever the sending stone is. Sorry.
Alright.
Sorry, I don't know what that is off my head.
It's not illusion.
I want to say it's divination, maybe?
Divination.
Yeah, divination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's actually evocation.
Evocation.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
see, I always think illusion when it comes to that sort of stuff, just because it's like, relaying, but, that's just me.
Or visual.
Yeah, but illusion is visual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly. Like senses,
Yeah.
not internal. But anyway.
Resisting the
also-
urge to
Oh, sorry.
tap the stone and say hello. But
Well,
no,
that's
just
what
me.
that's what the golem is doing.
Oh,
Saying,
never mind.
there are emissaries here from the god, from the from the mother of dragons, that require an audience with the consuls. And you basically hear it, just a vague voice again in Candalis. from the terminal, which I believe Vondel's, again, the only one who can understand. So basically saying, oh, okay, we didn't have this on the schedule. Send them in. We'll get them checked out. We'll see to the refreshments. Just allow them to enter. And as this is going on, the doors just open on by themselves.
And I'm gonna give the translation stone to Kale.
Hal sort of looks at it and nods. Great.
Pass over the stone.
I suppose that means I've been nominated as the
I'm
talker.
I'm not I'm not exactly good with the whole persuasion.
Well, I mean, I'm good at it, but I make bad choices. So.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want me insulting their religion,
I will say, oh shit, Urk is actually pretty good at persuasion. I'm not gonna lie.
You want to do that?
Persuade them in any sort of
I
way.
have
Yeah,
a
if you
plus.
want
I
me
have
to
a plus
persuade.
12 to persuasion.
I just don't know what to say. Oh wait, you got a plus 12? Holy shit.
That's all I
why it's been
do.
citing
Persuasion.
rebellions and sneezy
my
people
persuasion
and
is
all
plus
that.
17.
Plus
Mine's
17.
plus 17.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you also speak
Yeah, plus
Draconic, too,
17.
so you can
And I
speak
speak
that
Yeah,
way.
you
Draconic.
speak Draconic, so you can just use your
Alright,
own
so
tongue.
I'll basically just be like, yeah, these guys are pretty cool. You should do what they say. There you go, 27.
You're just basically saying that to nothing because the doors are open and the golem is now
Oh, what the-
leaving.
No, we need to have a persuasion roll off. Yay, I got a 1! Awesome!
He literally can't lose.
Yeah, but he's got plus 17 and you've only got plus 12. But anyway,
So I guess we're gonna head in.
you head inside to an opulent foyer. There is even a fountain with flowing water inside. A fancy one that looks like it is designed so that people can, stick a cup in and get fresh water for
Jack
themselves.
stick his head into it and drink it like that.
There's even spells on it that appear to be purify food, that appear to be purify water spells attached to this fountain. So yes,
Urkus dunks himself.
That's one way to do that, I suppose. I wonder if any of them speak Inferno. I'll have to test that theory.
Yeah.
a small,
Would be
a
helpful
bald,
if they
a dwarven man comes up to the group of you. A Durgar. Did you speak that in Infernal, or are you just speaking that in Common?
She might say hello in Inferno.
The man nods and immediately puts on Infernal, going, "Hello, ma'am. We are. I am here to serve and wait for the council's approval to meet with you. If you come this way, we'll have a seating area. We can even get you some food."
She'll nod and kind of relay that. But she'll also mention that our group speaks a variety of different languages to be like, and apologize.
And you are very light-skinned. Are you an albino?
No.
Fascinating. I've never seen an elf with such light skin before. Never mind. Come, sit. And it escorts you over to what looks like a very plush waiting area with like couches and like some tables brought up towards the couches. It's like, here, make yourselves at home. We will come and bring you refreshments and leave you alone while the the consuls to see if they have time for you right now.
Vader is going to sit next to Kale so Kale can give up-to-date translation of what's happening, because she doesn't like not knowing what the fuck is going on. So that's what she's going to do.
Sure, is just going to ask them to just let them know that we're sent about the country to the south, if that helps the situation.
I will relay that to them. Thank you. And he heads off.
Kale just sort of settles into a chair, and he's still flipping through those papers, and at some point he kind of like glances around, he takes a look at Phaedra, kind of nods, looks at Shiri, kind of nods, and then he looks at Will and like sort of wrinkles his nose. Like he's trying to work something out, but he's not not quite getting it.
I was like, I use Dwarvish. In that case.
Would have been helpful.
I did inform him that we have a variety of different languages. That at least we can translate to each other.
Oh yeah, that should actually be a...
Phaedra, by the way, as you're looking around with your magic eyes, you do notice that there are other spells active in this area that you are currently sitting in. One you are pretty sure is some kind of scrying spell.
We're being watched.
Good to know. Also going to sit next to Phaedra. Basically, Phaedra's now flanked by both the elves.
It appears to be coming from a blue crystal embedded in a mosaic up along the wall. The mosaics, most of them, look like just random patterns. But you can tell that all the blue crystals that are embedded in them are some kind of scry spell.
I don't like that we're helping Tiamat. I'll let that be known now. I don't feel comfortable here.
Yeah, I don't like it quite as well. But like, we'll see how good or evil the country is we're dealing with, and we'll go from there.
I'm just curious, like religion-wise, what do I know about Tiamat?
You know what was taught to you in books and in schools, that she was the mother of chromatic dragons, pretty much known as the Scaled Tyrant, often considered just to be evil, currently imprisoned, quote unquote, in Avernus. Her dragons typically are evil, or at least very much bullies, depending on your point of view.
Well, I mean, I know I've worked with white dragons, so I know
Yes.
what they're like.
Yeah, they're white dragons are the dumb bullies of
Mhm.
of the brand. They like to they're like the highly aggressive dude bros. The football players who've been hit on the head too often and don't understand right from wrong. I mean, that's basically how the way I interpret white dragons based on their description. Like
Question for you, Will.
Ah,
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're not interrupting. I was just staring into space.
Who besides you was here with this that made this deal?
Alan? I believe.
Yeah, it was
Talon, Gamel, William.
William. What's his name?
William.
What's his name, William?
I believe Ralthor?
Will is just. He doesn't remember. He doesn't make
I
William
anything
was
sort
that
of
Blue
remember.
Boy.
Yeah, William was there because he stayed there.
Kale is like listening to these names and like glancing down at the paper every now and then, like as if he's taking note of something.
Yeah, no, it was them.
Doesn't
And-
surprise me that a deal was made with Gamel around.
No, that was pretty much his deal.
And what service
Fucking
did
pity
Scar?
lass, at least.
What service did she do?
As a player, I believe it was got us out and into the Nine Hells.
Mm-hmm.
But Jury doesn't know that.
Yeah. Basically got us out of the hells.
I just hope that my patron won't punish me for assisting in someone I don't think they would favor. But whatever.
I think at
Listen,
this point,
what we're doing is above your patrons. It's above gods.
Well, yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, we
Yeah,
may be
so
assisting.
what their opinions are doesn't fucking matter.
No.
I mean, we may be assisting Tiamat, but isn't the Tarston worse?
I
Yes, the
believe it is.
Tarston's worse. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm
so
not getting punished for doing this.
lesser of two evils.
I believe it is.
Imagine saying that about Tiamat.
But you're doing a good thing for a bad person. I'm sure it balances out in the end.
I think
Pretty
the
black.
idiom. I think
You
the idiom is
really,
more
like-
enemy of my enemy.
It's not even that. It's
I mean, we can help her
allow
out now and then
allow
just
evil
smack
to
her
continue to
later.
exist. Allow evil to continue to exist alongside with the world, or allow the world to end.
Honestly,
No.
if your patron judges you for doing a good thing for a bad person, then your patron doesn't deserve you.
Well, honestly, that's what Will has been trying to teach me all this time. And something I've been trying to teach myself. It's not as clear as black and white.
It is not.
And I'm starting to realize just the flaw of it now. I agree.
I mean, if your patron was going to punish you for dealing with evil people, I mean, he would have done so already. You've been hanging out with me.
What? Kind of turns. What?
Kel just kind of shrugs.
Don't worry about it.
Kel just kind of shrugs and says, "Don't worry about it." Yeah, exactly. He's like,
Right.
Yep. Shrugs. All right. Nice teeth, by the way.
he just kind of smiles and goes back to like he's flips to another page of the papers he's going through, having not made sense of the one he was looking at.
Yeah, seeing that, if they're going to be waiting for a while, like Vader will like look over and just be like, good idea. Bit of light reading, pull out the book.
Will is just seemingly staring out into space.
Oh, he's so bored. He can't do anything. He just powered down.
He just powered down.
Somebody check his pulse if he's
Will's
still
gone into
alive.
standby mode. Will.exe has encountered a problem. Would you like to restart?
Will is focusing all of his energy to not cause bullshit.
Save the bullshit energy for the bullshit that you deal with.
Don't worry, Will. There'll be
Bullshit
plenty
cannon
of
charge.
bullshit for you in the South.
Although, there's going to be a lot of bullshit for you to cause in the South. I have a feeling about that.
Yes, save your energy, Will. Save it.
It's just building, and it's going to go critical.
Yeah, I
energy,
mean,
so-
he's gonna critical chaos at some point.
How is Will not a wild magic sorcerer? That's my question.
Sorcerers suck.
Didn't
A,
want to
wi-
go
a
there.
wild magic druid.
Oh
That's a
God.
magic druid.
Nah, he's a
Isn't
baked bean
there
druid.
like a
bean druid, yeah.
wildfire
I was
druid?
like, why be wild magic when you have beans? Same thing.
I have 8 bean bullets for my Wednesday game.
Jeez.
I can shoot the beans at people.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, Will isn't meditating, but he's certainly not here.
I really want to go over to him and just like lift his hat off while he's in downtime.
What will happen if Kale does that?
No, he's busy reading and waiting.
Shuri, what are you doing?
Just, if anything, keeping an eye out for any potential dangers, but she's just sitting next to Phaedra.
Paranoid Shiori with the alert feet.
Amunet, what about you?
She's doing the David Bowie with a crystal ball, and
Does she get something
probably
to scry on anything?
no. That's just something that she does, just like kind of like a tick.
Yeah,
kinda
I get that.
Yeah.
Is it David Bowie with a crystal ball?
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. I'll
He had
post
like
it,
2
yeah.
of them though. He had 2
But
of them
yeah.
or 3 of
He had
them.
2 big balls.
Yeah, that he
Yeah.
would twirl around. Yeah. It was a multitude of balls.
But she's there we go. There's a good one. There we go.
There we go.
I guess she's assessing the room. So making note of exits, making note. I mean, she's got a passive perception of 27, passive investigation of 28. So she's looking for, she's not actively like rummaging through shit because Phaedra mentioned that we're being watched, but she can still keep a very alert like eye on looking for hidden things in the room. So that's what she's doing. And seeing if that there are any hidden doors or exits that are visible.
Yeah, you're in a big palatial sort of room with lots of columns, rugs on the floor, occasional bits of sand that whatever sort of sweeping thing hasn't fixed. In fact, as you see a bit of sand that you made that seems to have come in through the door, you notice a very small to the ground, what looks to be some sort of clockwork mechanism just sort of gliding across the floor and cleaning up that spot and gliding
like
around.
Like a Roomba?
Yes, like a Roomba.
Oh, dear God.
There are gentle lights all over that also are magically sourced. After a bit of waiting there, you see a tabaxi woman approaching with a cart, and it appears to have little cups of tea, and what looks to be little like a bowl of like dates, and like what appears to be some kind of some sort of like cake or bread in another container. She like brings it over towards the table that's next to the couches that you guys are sitting on, and she starts placing it there. But you do kind of see can't quite see the entrance to where you came from where you're standing. And you see at a far distance stairs at one place. It appears to be like alcoves leading elsewhere, or just potentially just alcoves. It's hard to tell from where you're standing with all the columns in the way. So the woman finishes putting down the various tray of snacks for you guys and begins to depart. You now have food in front of you.
Phaedra will grab a cup of tea. She loves tea. She'll grab one and sip on it, and while she's reading.
Yeah, Kel will get some tea and peruse these snacks, because, of course, snacks. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Various fruits, and the tea tastes different than anything you've had before. And the fruit is basically stuff that none of you have seen, the equivalent of dates, but not quite dates. But basically stuff that Kale especially would never have seen. It's just not in his climate. And whatever it is, it might be related to some stuff that might have come out of Ithan, but not exactly, because there's this part of the world isn't aware that the rest of the world exists.
I mean, if there's cakes, he'd eat cakes, tea, whatever.
Eat cake.
Cookies. I mean, he's got a nasty sweet tooth.
Amunet picks up one of the cakes and remembers Kurt and her doing kitchen duty when they were in the toy makers or the guild house, and how she fucked things up and how he was like kind of like lovingly bossing her around, and she just she misses Kurt.
So as you look through the bready things, you find that one of them here is definitely cake and very sweet. It's got some sort of sweet compote in it. Another one apparently is filled with some sort of meaty or perhaps fishy substance. I would like each of you to roll me a 1d2 to figure out which one has gotten which.
I'm not eating anything made by these devil worshippers.
She's hungry. And then Amunet will as
well. Oh, both of you ended up with a sweet one. All right.
Roll 1d2.
So all three of you have ended up with something sweet.
I guess while Amunet is examining the cakes, Kale might like sidle up alongside her and sort of like slip her a piece of paper and just say softly at undercom and, hey, take a look at this and tell me what you think about it. He's like, I can't work it out. He'd be like, I thought it was one thing, but nah, Will's on there. He's
Kinda
speaking in like
shoves
yeah.
shoves cake in the mouth and just kind of shrugs and like just kind of nods and like turns away from Kale unsuspiciously, just kind of like
Yeah, and
in his-
he'd like
yeah.
sort of float back to the couch with his tea and cake and settle back down.
Yeah, she'll pull out her like I imagine she's like palming whatever paper in her hand, and she'll
I mean, do you want to slide a hand check for slipping that to her, Grizz? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And she'll pull out her alchemy notes and pretend to read, and then look over whatever the fuck Kale just gave. Putting the piece of paper in between the pages so it looks like she's reading the book.
And I have DM do the pertinent information.
Pertinent information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pin that. There we go. Yeah, you just see her cock an eyebrow.
Does she do the same like look between Phaedra, Shuri, and Will?
Yeah, you see her look to Phaedra. You see her look to Will, and then to Shiori, and then yeah, that's it. Yeah, she just and then she just is. I don't know if she can suss this out.
Yeah,
but,
no, just contemplative. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally missed out on what you're sussing out. Bakery and pastries?
No. So 2 separate things. Well, Aminette was reminiscing about Kurt, but it's something Kale found that is being shared with Aminette. And yeah, Aminette looked at in this order, Phaedra, and then to Will, and then to Shiori.
Will is just staring out into nothingness.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's just what
Shiori-
I didn't know if you were
Just-
AFK. I was just repeating what I did.
Yeah. Because she was just stared at by both Kale and Aminette now, right?
Yeah, Kale looked at Phaedra, looked at you, and then looked at he kind of looked at you two, Phaedra and Shuri, and sort of like nodded his head, like yeah, okay, and then he looked at Will and sort of like screwed up his crinkled his nose, like what?
She's now very concerned.
Yeah. She's gonna close her book and put it away.
So now Amunet also is aware of what's going on there.
Am I?
we have no idea what it means.
What the fuck that means? No clue. Like, can I? So I was gonna ask, like, can Aminette make a intelligence check to try to suss this shit out?
Sure.
I will ask Rick and the DM. She's not dumb.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's got an intelligence of 18.
A good part of it requires something that's wasn't what that was actually
wasn't given.
Yeah. Like obviously there's.
Is it a cipher?
Yeah.
There's obviously the names, and then the other parts are the thing that you're missing.
Yeah. I'll just do it for funsies, just for your knowledge, but nothing. I just want to do it, because why the fuck not?
Oh, wow.
She's very
I mean,
curious.
because I'm starting to wonder if it's like some kind of like cipher which some of the other pieces are related to, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Kale would be smart enough to work that shit out.
Do with that what you want, but yeah. Yeah, she just puts her book away, eats cake, misses Kurt, drinks some tea.
Urk, what are you doing? All this is going on. Okay, so Urk is just playing music while eating one of the cakes.
Did he get
got a
fish
sweet,
cake?
He got a sweet cake.
Ah.
Vondel, what about you?
Just waiting around for something to happen.
So you're in a holding pattern. Got it.
I'm sitting there like a grump.
Arms folded.
Yes. Not eating these evil sinner cakes.
The sinful cake deliciousness. You can taste the sin in every bite.
Wow, I can taste the sin in every bite.
It's cinnamon. Ah.
Yes, cinnamon.
Well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, cinnamon might be a decent spice from the region, or cinnamon-like plant. All right, so that's what Vondel's doing, and Frock is just you already said that you're sitting there, looking very grumpy.
Yeah, I'm a grump.
I'm not so grump.
Are you trying to out grump each other?
Nope.
So no grump off.
Nope. It
I got
was
that.
another reference. Fluffy got it.
Darn it. Alrighty then. So after a time of you guys enjoying your refreshments, some of you just looking extra grumpy, and all that, you sorry, the same Durgar who came by earlier, sorry, that showed you here earlier, comes back and looks up at you, and speaking again in this time in Candelis, says, "All right, the consoles are ready to see you now."
And that's conferred by the Kale, right? Is it?
Yeah, if he's speaking, whatever.
Candelis, yeah.
Candelis. He would actually ask, is there any way that my friends could get one of these? And he kind of holds up the little stone. They feel a bit left out of the conversation. Even if it's just to borrow temporarily.
We did not get it from.
Not sure
Oh, we
what
didn't
that
get
is.
it from.
No, we got it from Lograph.
Ah.
You know, this time he just kind of was, you know, an idiot and didn't give us more, but whatever.
He sort of frowns. He's like, it's a translator of sorts. Is there anything you could do that would help with this? They don't. They all speak different languages, and none of them yours.
Well, I personally cannot do anything about that. The consoles do have their own solutions. So don't don't worry, they will be able to understand all of you.
And will they be able to understand them? That's the.
They have their ways.
Magic.
Cal nods and conveys that to the others. She's like, I believe translation won't be a problem, but if it is, I'll still convey.
Fader gives a thumbs up.
Thank you.
All right, if you are ready, come with me, please.
Yeah. And
Yep, Kale will just nod and follow.
Yep.
Yep. We'll
Yeah.
just
no
slide
reason
off
not
the
to as
seats and
well.
walk slowly behind the party.
So he escorts you up a set of stairs, and and towards another archway, where you are finding yourself in what seems to be an opulent office sort of thing. There's actually a carpet here, not just a fancy rug, but a carpet, and what looks to be desks made out of real wood, not even zirk wood, but some sort of real forest wood. Two desks that are sitting side by side each other, flanking in front of the desks. There are several plush chairs, with several more against the wall. It looks like two of you can sit in front of each desk, and the rest of you will either have to stand or sit against the wall. Behind the desks, one man is a drow with red hair, and the other is a tabaxi man. I'm trying to think if Will saw either of these. I think he might have. He might actually remember seeing at least the drow. This is Prince Finer.
Was that the one Will blinded with daylight?
It might be.
I remember you.
Well, he doesn't know Will did it.
Yeah, but it very well might be. Shenanigans happened. Shenanigans always happen around Will.
Blinding daylight in a gift from another noble and a quickling running around making messes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
Two quicklings, actually, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
A lot of shenanigans were happening on that one.
Yeah.
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 But both men are standing behind their desks, looking at you. Finer, the drow puts a hand out and just basically indicating for you all to sit. And is watching you.
How many chairs are there?
There are two in front of each desk, and there are several more against the wall. So that all of you are capable of sitting, but only four can sit in front of the desks.
I'll go sit
Standing
on another
anyways.
desk.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'm
I'll
not
just
sure
stand as
whether.
well.
Well, I guess Kale wouldn't sit unless invited to, but he would step forward and introduce himself. He would kind of give like a formal bow and introduce himself as Kelethaniel Broadcloak, King of Arkenfeld in exile. Former King of Arkenfeld in exile.
The red-haired drow kind of lifts a brow at that, and says, there on his desk there is a kind of like a green, this green object, that Phaedra can see that is very magical, and it kind of glows. It's kind of like a half sphere, and it kind of glows as you talk. And he responds with, and all of you can understand him. I don't think I've ever heard of such a place. Where is that exactly?
He would describe to his best of abilities where it is located on the continent that it's on in Alaris, because I don't remember. It's Meeg? Or is that not my continent?
It's Meek, yeah.
Yeah.
And he still looks a bit dumbfounded, as does the Tabaxi. They're now both staring at Kale. And then, like, the Tabaxi sits down and just rubs the back of his head. It's like, as I said, we long suspected there might be other lands somewhere, but no one has ever come back from any sailing trips that have been sent, and it's not like we have access to the oceans down here.
So what is he? Are we underground, like in a city, or
No, you're actually in a tower.
so? How Kale would kind of raise an eyebrow. I was like, you don't have access to oceans, or just like
They're landlocked, I think.
Yeah, this country is landlocked.
But is it mountains or magic that keeps like?
There are mountains to the south. That's where the other country is, and to the north is. They will explain. He kind of like looks at you all and says, "Well, it's not like our neighbors to the north would let us through to send expeditions."
Kale just sort of gestures. He's like, well, I've seen the magic you have in this city. Is flight out of the question?
Is what? I'm sorry. Can you repeat
Flight,
that?
flying.
Flying across hostile territory would not be advisable, and especially getting to the ocean. We'd also have to the other place to launch from. Finder picks this up. Would be a country we don't have the best of diplomatic ties with, but they're not as hostile to us as our northern neighbors. And they appear to be like both interested in this renewed possibility of expedition. How did you get here then?
Well, we were sent here by someone proclaiming to be the daughter of Tiamat.
He nods. Yes, I don't think anybody would willingly lie about such a thing. Tiamat would not. The mother of dragons would not respond favorably to such a claim.
Wouldn't all dragons be the daughters of Tiamat?
There are those who would call themselves that, but not in the sense that you're implying.
Well, I mean,
No,
some of them
she's-
might be sons. I mean, sorry, being a jerk.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Phaedra Stoneheart here. And she'll just kind of step up behind Kale, who's sitting.
He hasn't sat. He wouldn't
Oh,
sit
okay.
unless
Then-
invited to, since he knows.
They did invite. They
He
said.
did.
Okay, so yeah, if they invited him to sit, then he would settle into the first of the 4 chairs.
Phaedra goes behind Kale's chair and just kind of like leans on it a little bit. Kale or Kale? I feel a little weird calling you Kale if you're a king and your real name's Kale Thalos.
No, Kelthaniel. But no.
Kelthaniel. That sorry, that's
don't worry about it. Look. That's why I prefer people call me Kale, because you'll just butcher my name. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, yeah, you have a problem with the Church of the Union or somewhere in the area. We're here for that.
They both nod together, and then Finer picks up the conversation. Yes, the Church of the Union to the south, and we know that their missionaries have been convincing people to leave the Federation. Now, we're all, unlike our neighbors to the north, we're all for freedom of religion here, but they're basically, shall we say, a cult, convincing people via trickery.
Yeah.
We know.
Good, perhaps that is why you've been sent to help.
From our understanding, the issue is not so much with the living, but also the dead. So this is even on a broader scope.
Yes.
So what information do you have for us that could aid us in this mission? What do you have any other insights into the Union or the Church? Any specific areas that they've targeted other than just...
The Tabaxi man kind of nods and picks up the conversation at that point. Yes, well, my sister 200 years ago started the Church of the Union. She brought her cultists down there when the rest of us split away from our other sisters, wanting to keep on to tradition for Kandala. But she couldn't hold
And-
half the country.
And I'm assuming your sister's name is Notra?
Yes, that would be her. Your knowledge, I guess, is part of why you've been sent to us.
Yes, things seem a little clearer to me these days. Kind of scratches the headband on her head. Anyway, continue.
Well, she used to be the high priestess of the divine light of Ra. Sorry, the high priestess of Ra, the divine light. Back in the north, back when we were all just one country. I was the military leader at that point under our mother. When our mother disappeared one day, supposedly as part of an assassination plot by the Kingdom of Fire, possibly, and Finer just kind of nods. My sister's assassin was spotted. He kind of mutters. We began a civil war. My sister Notra took her loyalists, and it turns out she had started her own religion right underneath the noses of her own church, calling it the Church of Unity, where people would be one rather than split by caste. I myself was dedicated to the idea of splitting away from caste. That part of our culture never agreed with me, and he looks over at Finer, who nods. Nor did he with his. We split the country. I took the southern part. My sister, my sister Monlif the 29th kept the north, and we started our own country here. That was 200 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been so long. It still feels fresh. That my sister Notra, with her followers, went south looking for the source along the Dragon Tooth Mountains. I believe she set up camp there. And they call themselves the Church of the Union.
So, other than missionaries not returning.
No, the missionaries from the church coming here into the country.
Oh, okay. So, other than the missionaries coming into the country and spreading this cult, you have no other intel as to what's actually going on down there.
I'm afraid not. Not specifically, no. What sort of information are you looking for?
Well, from kind of like looks around at the group real quick, from our understanding, what information or I guess what experience we've had with this entity that the church is based around, has to deal with like a combination of crystals, plant life, and dragons.
Half dragon specifically.
Something that would definitely offend the mother of dragons.
And also, like you're aware of this hive mind mentality of basically absorbing knowledge from the dead and the living. So that's what we've gathered. We've also had a little bit of luck with finding some weapons to assist with the destruction of this entity known as the Tarston. But as to anything else, that's the it kind of looks around. Unless I'm missing something, I believe that's the extent of our knowledge in regards to that.
I believe so. It keeps itself fairly secretive. I feel it's on purpose.
Usually around centers of knowledge, it had rooted itself in the Temple of Denier in Waterdeep, and I believe had a foothold as well in the Temple of Knowledge in Neverwinter, where obviously, if you're familiar with any sort of knowledge-based deities, would have extensive libraries. So, but it's basically a parasite and likes to attach itself to a host. So I would, I guess it would not, while we go to the south and deal with this issue, it may heed you to safeguard and monitor your areas where you keep your knowledge. It could be a point that this union may want to infiltrate and steal.
You mean like a library?
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere, and not specifically a library either, because there are other forms of knowledge.
Archives. Anything that would be
Well, that would be
of important
libraries and
knowledge.
schools, and of course, those are relatively protected, but they are open to the public, of course.
Yes.
This country is the finer speaks up. This country is based on equality and certain shared types of shared resources, such as knowledge. We cannot prevent the public from visiting such places. That would be against our.
That's not what I'm saying. Apologies for the miscommunication. I'm just saying you might want to just be on alert. I'm all for, I don't want to keep knowledge or information from anybody. I'm just saying that it could be points where
the Scale Guard and the Golems do patrol our streets. They will respond to any problems that arise.
Well, my experience as a soldier is it's better to prepare for an attack than reacting to one.
At which point the Tabaxi speaks up and says, I am also a soldier at heart, and we do have much training ready to react to such threats. Mostly towards the north, but yes, since the south seems to be sending in more missionaries, we have been preparing for an assault there. Now, why don't you tell us their capabilities, these death dragons?
Oh, fucking hell. Am I really going to have to go back into my notes? Help!
Effectively, they are adaptive. What might work on them in one moment may no longer work on them the next.
Oh, that's right.
And they're also prone, at least some of them, prone to wanting to devour anything magical.
And also, from my memory, are also vulnerable to its elements opposite.
Yes. They're plant-like creatures.
Yeah. If they devour magic, this city would be a smorgasbord for them.
Oh, this would be like a fucking buffet.
Finer kind of speaks up. I will alert the College of Artificers then. Make sure they are producing weapons that can adapt and counter such attacks.
Now, also, this plant-like entity that grows birth, kind of like looks at Shiori, shrugs. I don't know. These dragons, create these dragons, also have, the core of it is a crystal.
That is contagious.
Very contagious. And there are different types of crystals that it can spawn that have adverse effects. The red making you more... Looks over at Urk, ragey. The blue giving you a increased magical power, but at a price. Makes you very much craving magical items. And I believe there was pink that did some sort of lightning damage. Regardless.
There was also a black crystal that I got infected with at one point. It's made you more nocturnal.
Did you mention the blue?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay.
Yeah. Regardless, whatever benefits these crystals give you, in the end, it ends up taking over you.
Have you encountered anyone that might fit this description of the crystals? Like they kind of sort of grow on your body, like.
Yes.
None have come by this office, but that doesn't mean that scale guards in the south along the border haven't encountered anything like this.
It's
We
starts
Go
off
for
as a disease, but then becomes more of a curse, I think.
Perhaps then that's when the Tabaxi speaks up again. That might be why people have seemingly left their jobs. We've been hearing more about this in the south. It hasn't affected us much here in the capital, but some of the southern towns have reported losses of workers that
Yeah.
seemingly have upped and left to join the church.
That's
It is-
exactly what. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
It is
worse than simple
possible.
brainwashing. It's some sort of infection.
Yes, it's technically, I believe, a disease.
If you're immune to disease, it won't affect you.
Well, I will talk to the guards and make sure there's always a paladin in the ranks to keep people disease free.
That's why I brought up the missionaries coming into the city could also be infected. Could be laying nodes inside your city. Not to keep people from seeking knowledge, but just be aware that around those hubs they could be
Planting
nefariously,
Yeah.
exactly, nefariously attacking under your nose. No
It
offense.
likes to subvert, if that makes sense.
And also to share with your soldiers if you come in contact with one, not to openly touch anyone or the crystals themselves, anyone infected or the crystals.
Direct skin contact seems to be the most direct contact of infection.
Understood. Well, I will talk to the college of the alchemist. Sorry, of the artificers, and get them started on weapons that can deal with this. And I will speak with the guards and the military and make sure that there are enough paladins around and clerics to heal things.
Also, maybe good to maybe send a patrol or two down into your sewers. That's where we found our node.
It also had multiple other crystals with it, so standing in their aura can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Gale would frown. Would they even be able to destroy them? Didn't we need to use the...
It is hard.
Very hard. But we
Not
were able...
impossible, I imagine, but...
It takes time. It's better to locate the issue and then, I guess, fucking get in contact with us and we'll come back. I don't know. For our... We're just providing information.
I was actually thinking we could leave Meredith here with them to help clean up any crystals. Since she has a sword.
If that's what you want to do, I can't.
Well, I'm just with a thought that we could leave her here to help clear up any crystals that they might find.
But the problem is that won't work because she has the ice chakra. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yep.
So that won't work if there are any ice crystals, I assume.
No, actually, it still will. Cuts through the resistance / immunities too.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the convenience of the Chaosium swords.
Okay.
It's a suggestion if Grizz doesn't want to have to run.
Well,
Meredith.
Here's my thought out of character. And I guess Fader would be thinking about this too. We're preparing them for the possibility of something. We know there's shit to the south that we're going to have to deal with. And as many of those weapons that we have is better in our favor. So that's what, strategically, that's her thought process. And I would rather have Meredith.
So we just suggest that if they locate any, they quarantine them and until we can get back to deal with them?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, quarantine the issue. Or send a lot of fucking paladins.
Mm-hmm.
Are we starting a crusade?
I mean, we're in crusading distance. Might as well.
How do you feel about vampires here?
Oh God, Please don't get murdered.
When in crusading distance.
Yeah.
Side note, and I hate to do this, I need to make lunch. I just
Yeah,
realized what time it was.
I was about to basically suggest that. I was
I know we took a little break earlier,
at the
but
end of the
I was using the
conversation.
bathroom. Okay, that's cool. I can wait. Trying to think like if there's anything else we found out down in that battle. I'm trying to remember. I feel like we've shared everything, but it's been a hot minute.
It doesn't mean your characters remember much either, from considering the trauma they went through.
That's fair. Yeah, the only one that would really like probably remember anything would be Rhiannon, because she writes everything down, and she's not here. So
Yeah, well, she's got a node situation of her own she's dealing with.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's it. At least from Phaedra.
Yeah, I don't think Shuri has anything more to add. She's already pretty much given what she knows.
Oh! Phaedra like perks up for a second and then looks over at Will, who's still staring out into space. Will,
Huh?
didn't you use a spell that was really, really good against them?
What?
Light.
Yeah? Yeah?
So I mentioned they are plant creatures.
Yeah, they're plants.
So I guess more than paladins, druids as well.
Yeah,
maybe.
bring the gardeners.
Bring the
Hey!
gardeners.
Hey, they're probably blessed to deal with a plant thing. I mean, it's smart.
Plants. Yes, I hadn't thought about it that way, says Finer. But the water specialists would be very useful with this. They also deal with plant life and the agriculture.
I really want to just gesture at Will and be like, could you let him steal something? I think he's dying.
Would you let him steal something?
Could you just look the other way while he steals something? I think he might die if he doesn't.
Is it really stealing if they let you have it?
Wouldn't Will then be happy because of that?
But see, when he's allowed to steal,
Will is just being his normal, gentle old man self.
Right.
Right?
Right.
check him for a fever.
He did mushy peas.
He's immune to the disease, but he was sick all along.
Finer pulls something free from his desk. Looks to be a pendant or amulet with a basically what looks to be like a Tiamat symbol to you, Kale, and hands it over towards you.
Well, I guess he'll take it. He kind of.
This will show anybody you need to talk to that you are here with the goodwill of our country. He then kind of leans down and plucks up another necklace with a glowing green orb on it and offers it out to towards Phaedra, actually.
Thanks.
This should work within a range of about 10 feet of translating anything you hear and translate it back so as if you're speaking in native language.
Thanks. Do you have... I'm not trying to be greedy.
No, 10 feet as in everybody within the 10 feet radius.
Oh!
So just stick close when having a conversation. It should be fine.
Thank you.
Does it translate all languages?
All languages it has access to. Pretty much all languages. I do not think it will translate Celestial, and it won't translate won't translate very unknown languages. But
And
we are
it's
speaking and we are fine, so it translates whatever you understand the most.
Almanet and Celestial says, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it
The
doesn't seem to understand
Bundle
Celestial.
in Celestial
Doesn't
says,
seem
yeah,
to
I
work
know,
in
right?
She gives Vondel a little wink. You see from under the hood.
Oh gods. Just
Shady
I
shit.
don't just no.
Just yes.
I ship it.
Oh! Yeah, I
I'm-
don't know
I'm-
if she swings that way. We'll see. I haven't thought about Amunet.
Uh,
Does
and
she like dwarf?
and does dwarf like female like celestial types?
Mm-hmm.
There's a big potential gaps here, people. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
what am I on to? It would be the Tabaxi at this point says, I'm hoping that once you come, that you'll be able to come back, once you're done, dealing with this situation, to tell us more about this other continent and how we might potentially reach it.
Just looks at Kale.
Yeah, just kind of looking at Kale.
I mean, sure. I'm assuming you, well, let me put it this way. Where I'm from, Tiamat is considered an evil deity. I'd like to learn more about your take on it as well, so maybe we can do a bit of a cultural exchange.
That would be most useful. They think that in the north too. But she defends the the multiverse against demon attacks, and the people of the north, of course, worship demons, and well, it's not worshiping demons isn't even outlawed down here, but it's discouraged. But I
Yeah,
hope,
nods.
hope to see you if you can come back.
Yeah, he'll agree. If we're able to, we'll return. Sometimes we end up being swept away to places that we don't exactly want to be.
And Finer adds, I would just suggest avoiding conflict here in our country. We do happen to have some rather integrated responses.
Integrated responses?
The golems have the ability to share with each other at long distances what they see and pick up. So if you were to say break the law significantly and attract the attention of one golem, you will soon have multiple golems hunting you.
But they have a mesh network
Good to
of
know.
Wi-Fi.
Magical version of it, yeah.
Before we head out, one last thing. Do you by chance have a map of the South so we know the best way to get to our destination?
Ah, of course. And you are presented with a map of all of Candalis, which has basically let's see, where's my personal map? It's 200 years out of date now, but look that up.
Map.
Here it is. Basically, what used to be a huge map of Kandala. You see, Kandala Prime is now at near the southern border of a huge country called Kandala. The Kandala Federation now takes up what used to be the southern section of the whole country of Kandala. And there is a region called the Dragon Teeth Mountains, where there is a marked around the entrance of the river. Was just a small area that says Church of the Union on it, but most of it is Kandala Federation, much to the south, and then just following the river will eventually take you to the Church of the Union.
Below the river. Got it.
Right, so quick break before, or are we just gonna end here?
No, I
That's
gotta.
that's up to you guys. We've still got another hour on here, but if you guys want to take take a week to decide on things,
Well,
we can.
yeah,
Or we can
It's,
take
I
another
uh,
hour after break.
I want Fader
I-
to get food.
Yeah, I just need to get food because my blood sugar's gonna fucking crash.
Alright,
I'll be back.
so-
Yeah.
We'll take a
Okay.
break.
Thanks.
Hey, we'll be right back as well. Burner.
It's quiet.
Yeah, very quiet.
I'm just sitting here waiting for people and shit, and it's just like super quiet, and I'm like,
Yep.
God, is like nobody gonna talk?
That's because most people are AFK.
I guess. I mean, I'm definitely AFK at the moment, but you know, I got headphones on. I'm speaking through my phone. 6 o'clock, birds will start fucking chirping and
Chirp, chirp.
squawk their
Chirp,
fucking
chirpy.
heads off.
Chirp, 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 chirp. Chirp, chirp, chirp.
No, not chirp. More like fucking screech.
Bin chickens?
Nah, it's a red-tailed black cockatoo. They're kind of common in Australia-ish. Not that common, but you see them every now and then when they're in season. But yeah, they're really fucking loud, and they sound more like pterodactyls. So
Screech!
they're called.
Screech! Like that?
Mhm. Except a lot more louder and a lot more ear-shattering. It's horrible.
I don't think I can simulate that.
Ugh. One day I'll fucking record it and just send it into a voice chat somewhere, and people will be like, "What the fuck was that?" And I'll be like, "It's a bird." It's a plate. Nope, wait, it's actually a bird. But yeah.
Then people be like, oh, Australia. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, my dad, he's actually got a shit ton of pet pigeons now. Yes, he's got pet pigeons.
Do they make lots of gentle cooing noises?
Sometimes, but when they're little babies, they actually squeak. They
Aww.
actually do little squeaks.
That is so cute.
It is, and the best thing about them is if you actually hand raise them, they're like the most cuddliest little fuckers you will ever meet. They'll literally nuzzle up to you and just lay in your hand if they want to, and just fall asleep on top of you. Or he'll
Aww.
hop up onto your shoulder, and if he needs to poop, he'll actually fly off onto the ground and just shit on the floor.
Oh, that's better than
Or
pooping
at
on your
least he
hand.
does with me. Yeah, he does it with me, but whenever Dad's around him, he usually gets shit on him.
Doesn't like your
So
dad
it
so
only
much,
does
does
it
he?
with me. Oh, it sleeps with Dad, so
Ah,
at the moment it's actually in his room. So once when it's time for him to feed the bird, it'll actually peck Dad, and Dad will wake up, give the birds food, and probably just go back to sleep. Birds.
bird, bird. Bird, bird, bird.
Oh, and Dad also has these other 3 pigeons. Two of them have already had an egg at the moment, and they're still basically young. So, but he could actually send out the pigeons out into the front yard, and later on they'll just come back and fly into the house and wait until Dad comes and puts them back into the bird room. So that because they know where the food is, but they'll fly out there and have fun and just, chill out outside.
Sounds cool.
I mean,
Ah,
imagine
hi
having a
there.
pet bird that you could release it out into the world and it just comes back.
Well, in Australia, I guess that makes a lot more sense.
Welcome back, Quentin.
You missed a stirring bird discussion, Quentin.
Oh, yeah. My dad has a pet velociraptor. Those are the flying ones, right?
Well, this raptor.
Just a raptor? Really?
Yeah, Velociraptor, because raptor means bird of prey, and then Velociraptor is in reference to a dinosaur.
I mean, technically
Yeah,
speaking,
I'm talking about the dinosaur. I'm talking about the bird dinosaur.
ostrich.
Archaeopteryx? Do you have a pet cassowary?
No.
Because cassowary is basically a velociraptor.
Is it a pterodactyl?
Pterodactyl's not actually a dinosaur. They just exist at the same time.
Mm.
They're
I don't
pterodons.
know.
Pterodons are a completely different species. They're not even related to birds. They're more closely related to crocodiles than they are to birds.
Yeah, just they develop flight differently.
Mm-hmm. They're covered with a different substance, not feathers, but a substance similar to feathers, but more closely related to scales. That doesn't
I mean,
currently exist in the world. Because
aren't feathers scales also?
yeah, but what they had was even more different than that. But they did have coverings as well. I have a sweet prairie girl. Get to pet your sweet head. So how are you guys doing?
Just chilling at the moment, waiting till people get back. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking about maybe downloading a new game or an old game that I've played before, but just don't know what.
off-topic question. How's the COVID situation in Australia?
Apparently, we've had 2,000 positive tests in Queensland. So yeah, fuck. It's
Oh,
kind of
I was about
shit.
to say, 2,000 deaths a day. That's about as much as we're getting in the United States.
No, not deaths. No,
Yeah,
just
I thought y'all had that
COVID
under control.
positive. Yeah, no,
Omicron.
we did until. No, we had everything under control until Christmas came around, and then we decided to open up the borders, so that means families can get together and all that.
And then the sickness got
And
in.
then New
And then
Year's
Omicron
also
everywhere.
came around,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
they
then
should have
Omicron.
just put the people in quarantine 2 weeks earlier, and then boom, problem solved. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna be locked down again.
I'm expecting a lockdown
I mean,
here.
I haven't been to school yet again since last time, so still.
Mm.
Um.
So what? You're slamming my hand. How is my Lyra?
Dad's like,
Chris, I have 34,000 of your channel points.
What?
Wow,
On Twitch.
that's a lot.
Oh, y'all are Twitch streamers. I forgot.
You're an affiliate, you can do stuff with them.
What can you even do with me?
Chat things, commands, pop-ups, like viewer participation things.
Back.
Welcome back. Shuttle's back. Do we have everyone back?
I think so.
Pretty sure.
And people who've been quiet, listening in all along?
No, I just
I'm
got
always
back
quietly
basically.
listening in.
No, Kale never. I never left, so. Yeah, no problem. We should have been breaking earlier than that, but yeah, dizzy's never good.
I just been coughing a bit, so I've been muted.
Ah. So you guys have gotten a map that shows you which direction to go, basically following the river. You have a symbol of the country that will help facilitate your path, and you've got a universal translator.
I feel like we should have asked them what sort of currency they have in case we needed to, like, get anything. I think we're pretty well stocked, but
Yeah. We'll be okay.
who knows? They might not use, like, actual gold. Like, gold is gold. Like, it has a worth, but, like, they might use something weird, like bugs or something.
Oh yeah, they could just
There was
bugs.
that one country that used bugs. When you guys went to it?
Yeah.
The Beatles.
Yeah, you said that just as you guys had actually said that. What if they used some word currency like bugs? Just as I had previously, like
Yeah.
5 seconds before, wrote down they're using jeweled bugs for currency, and I hear
Yeah.
that and I had to mute myself because I was laughing so hard. You're
Yeah,
like, okay.
Phaedra and Will were arguing about economics. And Will just made the point like, what the fuck has value anyway?
I mean, gold has a value because it can be converted into other things.
Gold
don't know
has
so
no
much about-
value to someone who doesn't care for gold.
Well, it depends on what they have.
Gold might not have a use.
I mean, I guess if they don't adorn themselves or make semiconductors or...
Certain cultures might just go like, yeah, no, gold is just, meh. Bone, on the other hand, ooh, yes, bones. You can't just find bones.
Well, I think one of
it
the
has to be
reasons why
grown.
gold was used for currency is because for a long time, other than as decoration, it didn't have much value as anything else because it was only useful for decorating things. And so it's like, okay, yeah, this doesn't corrode, this doesn't get consumed. Yeah, why don't we just use this as the unit of how we're doing currency, because that's how that makes sense. Instead of
Things
choosing
were
anything
better
else.
when you could buy things with a bag of grain.
Will's complaint on gold.
Seemingly useless substance. Of course, later, much later on, they discovered that, gold does have an actual practical use. We're making semiconductors.
I prefer non-semiconductors. They make the better orchestra bits.
So, what are your guys' plans now that you have these materials?
You've been DMing us for such a long time. Do you really think we have plans?
Depends on who I'm at, which in your party I'm asking.
I mean, shopping, spa day. Who cares about
Normally,
Star
I do
City?
Shopping?
plans,
Really? Again?
but
Hey,
shopping.
I haven't been able to do shopping for me.
Yeah, this is Kale we're talking about here. The former king of Arkenfeld.
I was just like, when do you think the last time I had a manicure was?
And his nails are all ragged at the moment.
He has a little kit that he does it himself, but that's way different when somebody else does it. I kid. We go south.
Yeah. Now that we have a map,
We
we know
walk
where the
south.
fuck we're going.
If
We
any-
wait for Will to get us banished from the kingdom.
Yep.
Let's not wait for Will to banish us
Especially
from the
now that
kingdom.
you've
Will
learned
gets
that
confused and thinks this is
that-
the country is going to level.
that basically if you attack a guard, that there's a good chance that all the guards are going to be chasing you Skyrim style. That's the thing that always irked me in like Skyrim and Fallout. It's like
You're
how do
cutting
all
out
the-
Your
again.
mic's cutting out again, Grizz.
That's because I had the mic up again instead of down by my mouth. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Always irked me in things like Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and whatnot. It's like, how the hell do these guards in this other place know that I did something wrong over here? It's like, how did they all automatically know this?
Literal
Well,
magic.
they don't know if you don't leave any witnesses.
Yeah. But here in this
Just
country,
go fishing if
apparently,
there's
there
no
are
witnesses.
ways of doing these things. So it's been advised that you do not go and do bad things because you'll be found out quickly.
What if I steal a guard?
You're a guard. That's the most. I don't. What?
Just remember, Will is the rocket of the party.
Will's something. I don't even think Will knows what Will is.
Nope. But Will doesn't care. Will just rolls with it.
So you guys are escorted out of the office, back down the stairs, and are bid goodbye from the building. And you're sent back out onto the street.
Will looks to the south and starts walking.
Do you have keen mind?
He's a druid. We're outside.
All right.
Is it daytime?
Yes.
Where's the sun?
Up above.
Yes. We're back on the road.
On the road again.
On the road again. You better stop me from stealing on the road again.
Why are you rubbing your nose against my microphone, Lyra?
Yes.
All right.
The real question is why you're not.
You're on the street. It is mostly clean except for the occasional bits of dust, most likely blown in from the surrounding desert. You do see some areas of, small manicured shrubs and the like that look like they can maintain without too much water for a while, but there are the occasional square where there's a fountain, much like not unlike, but not quite as elaborate as bigger, but not quite as seemingly as elaborate as the one in the consul's office. And it looks like people come here and use it as the sector well, and are just getting water supplies from it.
Is it like particularly hot here?
Let's see. This time of year, it is starting to cool down, and because you're in the southern part of this country, it's more of a cooler desert at this elevation. It's not quite cold. But it's getting closer towards temperate rather than hot.
Hmm.
Will just keeps on walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're just gonna head south, Kale is going to cast himself. If we're gonna walk all the way, are we walking?
I guess we didn't check to see if there was any sort of like, because we have such a great record with them, horse and carriage.
That's a bad idea considering
That's
our group.
Yeah, that's usually a bad idea. So that's why I kind of was like, but then you just mentioned that. I'm like, well, we can, but usually they die.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna just do that and summon myself a unfortunately skeletal mount to ride.
I'll take Silver out for the one time in a long time.
The sudden appearance of a large skeletal horse does kind of startle a few people. They
Well,
think
it's not a horse. It's one of those deer goat things from his country.
They don't recognize it as anything more than some sort of bizarre horse monster, since they don't have creatures like that down here. The closest creature to it would be a horse, with horns, and it's all bony. But you basically got some people just like backing away from you rapidly, and some others who are looking stunned at the silver dragon that you have.
Yeah, Kel doesn't pay them much time and mind, and just like sort of climbs up and says, "Okay, well, I have my ride. I guess I could possibly carry someone else."
Meredith
They
climbs
just
on
like
board with
move
you.
out of the way, peasants.
Yeah, Fader's okay with walking. I'm gonna don't care
Yep.
either.
I mean, Kel's just fucking lazy that he wouldn't walk.
But you have attracted attention for these acts, and you have a few guardian types and a few scale guard that seem to be heading in your direction, just keeping an eye on
We're
you.
walking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just like he's keeping it. It can go 100 feet per turn, but he's just sort of like it's ambling along with the group. He just doesn't want to walk. He's not causing any trouble with it.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
stopping anywhere. We're not bumping into
No.
people. We're walking.
And also, Kale's wearing the Tiamat fucking pendant, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like looking as proud as a peacock with that shit.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody bears us too much scrutiny, he'd just sort of like hold it up, sort of, so they fuck off.
Yeah, we head south and let's get rolling.
All right. So you're following your druid friend. I would
What's this
like, since this is not your home world, to give me a and you don't know which way it rotates, any information like that. I would like you to give me a nature check at advantage, please. Will.
I mean, Kale would be able to tell direction, right?
Yeah, and you can also give me a nature check.
I'm not gonna do very good because I'm not smart, but
What about survival?
This is also Amunet's world, so that should help. But yeah, Will definitely still knows which way south is, even on a different world.
he's just gotta look at like moss on trees or some shit, doesn't he?
There's no trees here.
Bushes.
There's no shrubs, yeah. But also, that's actually a myth that they don't always.
I know. I'm making a joke. You don't have to like Encyclopedia Brown me.
Sorry. Eventually, you make it to the gates of the capital city, and find yourself looking down a well-maintained road, out past the city. Now there is some vegetation out here, and you can see not too far away where there are clear evidence of farms being used, and these appear to be running close to the river. And on the opposite direction from that, away from the river, that's where it gets more and more sandy. Less and less vegetation.
Kale sort of just idly wonders, like, and he says it out loud. He's like, I hope as part of our cultural exchange, they will introduce me to some of their local vintages. I mean, every
The
culture has
road-
alcohol, right?
The well-maintained road continues south.
Yes, it does.
We
But
walk on the road.
We were told to follow the river.
Which the road follows. So you're good.
Okay, cool.
Good.
South
Just
is
checking.
south.
Follow both.
Yep. It means we can also fish for food if we follow the river too. If they have fish here.
Yes, there's fish.
Freshwater fish.
Yee.
Yes, it would be fresh water.
saltwater fish is better.
Yeah, well.
But that's just a personal taste of mine.
It comes pre-seasoned.
I mean, I like
Yeah.
tuna. Tuna is probably my favorite fish.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy variety of fish.
I want sushi now.
Yeah, me
But
too. I was just thinking.
I'm actually going out after game for sushi. We're gonna go to this local place. They have a tasting menu.
You're gonna do your sushi you didn't get for your birthday?
Yeah.
Yay! Enjoy.
I want to go with the one. Yeah, sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I'm in the Tobias mode. I want.
I want to go to one of those. I forget what they're called in English.
Izakaya?
No, well, no, yes, but also one of those sushi restaurants with the plates just circling the chefs.
Revolving.
Yeah.
Oh
revolving.
yeah, they had one of those in DC, but it closed.
We have one called Kura in Carrollton in the little Koreatown. It's
Yeah, I
amazing.
don't think we have any anymore.
You
But the
sit
place
there.
I'm going has a omakase menu.
You
Which
sit
is
there
like-
and eat and eat and eat, and then you realize you have your 16 plates in.
So, but the cool thing about it is they have at least the one that we have. It has like a gachapon, little Spencer. So if you eat enough, it shows this little animations like eat sushi, defeat Godzilla. It's this animation thing.
Nice.
And then if you eat, I think it's 10 of the small plates for $20 you spend, you get a little gachapon ball that's got like, it just depends on the month, but a different little toy. It's fun.
That's
That's
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like
fun.
we have one at Towson Mall, so I could drive like forever to get to Towson.
I went to a restaurant in Tokyo where there were different types of plates for different types of pricing.
Mhm.
And every now and then there will be a special plate circling, a gold-plated. It's expensive.
Like fatty
Sushi.
tuna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
it's something extra fancy came rolling out that I usually wouldn't serve unless someone ordered it.
Yeah.
And you would buy it and you would get a little like poem compliment
Aw.
on paper when you left if you bought
Aw.
it.
That's lovely.
I never bought it. It was too expensive. I was a student.
Yeah. But that's a lovely. I love that they give you
Yeah.
a poem and thanks.
Was this
Sweet.
in Japan?
Yeah.
Nice.
Someday.
Another place I'll never see.
So, river, road, desert,
Yes.
Walking.
farms,
So-
walking.
Getting towards the evening, and about an hour after you last saw any evidence of farming, please give me perception checks.
Okay. Phaedra.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna take mine
rule-
at advantage because I have Squeak with me and he's helping.
Rules lawyer, Kelsey doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, sorry.
No, I will recast it every hour. If I'm resting on the back of my thing, it's getting recast.
Oh fuck!
Hold on, not a rule.
Yeah, it's a 31.
Yeah, just a 27.
So
Just a.
that means Immunet being a 31 is the first to see two scaly shapes moving through this, nearly blending in with the sand, moving cautiously towards your group.
Yeah, she'll raise
they
a
look,
hand.
large-sized, and they're just hunched down into the sand, covered in sand, but you can make out the movement of them.
Blast them.
Yeah, she'll like hold up a hand to get the group to stop, and then she'll be like quiet, and yeah, she'll try to slink a little forward just to try to get a better look at what they are.
All right. And what you see out there in the sand appears to be a pair of where did it go? Hold on one second. A pair of young brass-colored dragons who seem to be
Oh.
fixated on the appearance of Sylvie.
Oh.
Don't touch my dragon.
Well, they probably haven't seen many metallics out here.
Yeah.
I mean, they are metallics themselves, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she'll she'll pull out a crystal ball and David Bowie it, and she'll telepathically communicate that to Frock and then the group. I think they're interested in Sylvie. A couple of metallic.
Are they nice?
I don't.
What do you want me to roll if I know about what I know about dragons?
Arcana or nature?
Yeah, we'll do a.
That shouldn't be an advantage, but
Well, it's a
23.
first roll anyway. So yeah, you see brass dragons, and what you understand is brass dragons are quite playful. They tend to be. They don't intentionally try to hurt travelers, but they do sometimes try to play with them.
yeah, we probably shouldn't stab them. Phaedra, well, is that Aminette?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not like the asshole white dragons I've dealt with. They're playful,
Yeah,
especially when they're young. If they're young,
she'll say, "I think they want to play with Sylvie."
I'll allow it.
is it about time to like set up camp at this point? Like,
It's getting towards
dusk,
evening. Yeah, it's dusk.
Yeah.
I mean, we could ask them if there's anywhere. I'm assuming they're capable of communication at their. Are they Sylvie size or smaller? Like,
Hold on. Let me double check.
I will adopt them.
I will adopt them. They will be mine.
I mean, if it's gonna be dragon playtime, I'm bringing Thunder.
They're this size, so they're bigger than Sylvie.
yeah.
Same size.
They're bigger than Sylvie.
Are they?
Yeah, Sylvie's only a medium.
Wow.
She's small lady.
Puny little dragon.
Well, she's kind of a baby.
She's not that young, but like kind of young.
Past the wormling stage, because aren't they really tiny at that stage?
She's a dragon. She's a silver wormling, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember that's a good size for a goblin rider.
I can write something bigger.
Yeah.
Wait.
And to be able to fit into.
How old is
dungeons.
Sylvie? She might grow up soon.
They don't level up like fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, they
No,
don't
they-
just like evolve.
No, they evolve
They're not
after
Pokemon.
at a certain age. They'll suddenly turn one size bigger.
It's not like fucking
That's not
Super
how it
Mario and they're
works.
eating a mushroom.
I mean,
sure.
we've
when
done
she-
that in another campaign.
There was
Huh?
another campaign.
Uh-huh. And Aminette might have
Run,
some mushroom in
Jasmine.
her bag.
Okay.
I want to feed Squeak one of the big potions to make him like large.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna waste a potion on that, but
I think I do have a mushroom still left, don't I? Yeah, I got a big wart in Aminette's bag of coal.
Oh god. Do you have one of the opposite effects on you?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Will
Yeah,
it
they do
be
it too,
smaller?
permanent.
do you want to get microscopic, Will?
Nope.
Yeah,
I
I've
just
got,
inhaled Will.
I've got
And Will's
big
just gonna
wart.
stab you apart from the inside.
Oh,
You get
God.
all
He's
of
in
your
my
little
lungs.
Yeah, we
You
have
thought
big
you could hide
wart,
your
no,
knees from me.
This
No
is the second
fungus,
time you've
purple bark,
talked about
ice
inhaling
cream,
Will.
and then a spicy mushroom with a
Will is a
little
spicy
extra.
mushroom.
Well, it's got purple worm poison soaked in it, so.
That's extra spicy.
Will's
Extra
gonna go on a fantastic voyage.
Wait, can Will have the
To
purple
death!
worm poison?
Mushroom.
The mushroom with purple worm poison?
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, can Will have it?
Fuck no.
Oh.
Can I put it in my pot of awakening?
Oh dear God,
What?
what evil thing would grow from that?
Will just wants to eat the mushroom.
I mean, she has a tasty red mushroom if you want one.
Well, no, he wants some poison one.
No, I'm not giving you that one.
He's not gonna die, isn't he? Immune to poison?
He's
Yeah,
immune.
he's
He
immune
the
to
poison.
poison.
He
I-
just wants the spice.
Not gonna. No offense. I know you might want to taste it. I'm not gonna. It's gonna. For something big. No. No eat. No eat.
Wait.
No,
Please
no
no.
eat.
Offers
Like-
regular tasty red
Li-
mushroom.
Life is so unfair. He eats mushroom.
Yeah, so I imagine if it's dragon playtime and these things are out and about, like Cinder might like float up to one and then like land maybe like a meter away and then just sits down very cute like and blinks her blue eyes and tongue goes out. Blip.
The dragons look very astonished at Cinder. I mean, they were coming in because of Sylvie, but now they're looking at Cinder and are just have this amazed expression. And you hear in Draconic one of them saying, what are you? We've never seen one like you before."
Shiny.
And the other one's like,
That's all she says is shiny.
not many of us to begin with.
Squeak's gonna go over there and scare them with being a bony dragon.
They barely notice Squeak.
Good that he's getting on top of one and just sitting proudly on its back.
The one cautiously looks at Sylvia and it's like, "Where have you come from, little one? Where you should be in a nest. Where's your family?"
I am her family. I see. I'm wearing full silver as well. I'm a very shiny goblin.
And one of them asks, is that a goblin? I've never
Yes.
seen a goblin before. I've heard
I'm a
of
very
them.
nice
tasty.
goblin.
They're somewhere in the north. Vax, don't get into that.
Nothing that I'm gonna
Sorry,
ask though.
accidentally unplugged my microphone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, these boys are young. Sophie is wormling.
Yeah, no, we'll could take one out in one turn. Yep.
Yeah, you can take
That's a
Sylvie out in
flex.
one turn. Like Sylvie has like 1/4 of my health.
It's just like, yeah, no.
In a place where goblins have more health than a dragon.
Mm.
Yeah, you know.
Mm.
D&D logic.
It's called stubbornness.
Yeah, Cinder's gonna do the get down. She was like sitting up, and she's gonna go to like a pouncing motion, and she's gonna do the butt shake. And then, yeah, she's gonna playfully pounce on this one.
This one makes churring noises. And is giggling.
She's just gonna play with the dragon. She's been cooped up for a while. Yep, exactly.
Yep, dragon playtime. Meredith's just kind of staring at all this.
Phaedra's gonna start making camp. Well, that's going on.
Ooh, cat butt wiggle. Yep. Cat getting ready to pounce. But yeah, the two much bigger dragons seem to be quite enjoying fiddling around with the much smaller dragons, but are being cautious with them. Kind of like teenagers or young adults with small children and babies.
You mean toss them around and
Yep.
yeah,
Throw them up in the air.
swing them around, hold them by the legs, and just swing around.
Swing 'em around by the tail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how I play with my nephews.
yeah. If Cinder gets flipped up, she'll land on the head of the upside down look right in the eyes.
Children are made out of rubber and magic. They'll
Yeah.
survive.
Rubber and magic.
They are.
Yeah, the amount of time
That
I
is that is a
hit
description
them
I have
against a
never
wall
heard.
or a door or something, and they're fine. They'll live.
Yeah.
You
They're
must
fine
be
as
the
long as
fun
you
uncle.
don't acknowledge.
Yeah. Ow, that hurt. No, it didn't. Oh, you're right, it didn't. They're too stupid. Just don't acknowledge that they got hurt. And it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Gets hit by a
So,
meteorite.
do a performance check for your music, please.
Sure is going to help you, by the way. Set up camp.
Cool.
Meredith will help as well.
That will supervise.
Nice, natural 20.
Nice.
That's some good music.
Beautiful music being played by the camp.
Yeah, for funsies, just to see if there's anything. Because we're still remotely by the river, right?
Yeah, though the dragons came in on the other side from the more deep desert.
Okay. When camp's set up and everything, Phaedra's gonna go and try to catch some fish for dinner. She'll do that. Because why the fuck not? Survival?
Meredith will go with you just to keep an eye on your back.
Sure.
And yeah, roll survival.
Okay. There we go. And we do have a fishing pole and tackle.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. Give me a 1d4.
Sure. Bye, Jesse.
Night. Oh, too late. All right. So, you end up struggling with something large that seems to have been caught on your hook. Give me a strength check to reel it in. Alright, you soon reel in a large, reeling fish. One that might even satisfy the hunger of a single one of those 2 dragons that's over there. And clearly enough for your entire party.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the dragons. I was gonna just go for the party.
They have to fucking hunt for themselves.
No. I was just pointing out the general relative size.
Yeah, it's a big fish.
Would be big enough to satisfy
Big fish.
two dragons.
Yep. Phaedra comes back very happy and pleased, and will roast it on the fire.
Alrighty then. Give me
Impressive.
another survival check for cooking skills.
Aminette's gonna come in and be like, so I keep bringing up Kurt because food always comes up because she cooked a lot with Kurt. She's gonna be like, my friend tells me to roast it this way, and can I get advantage
Yes.
on that? Cool.
Phaedra and Amunet work together.
My characters combined.
My characters combined, I am Captain Dammit.
Yay!
Good fish.
Yes, you properly spice everything and cook it perfectly to get rid of any parasites that might be within.
Cool. And she'll.
I still have that jug. The jug that does the mayonnaise.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna break that out and make a nice white or something to go with the fish that would go with fish.
Yeah. That would work
if you're cooking to go with it, also roll survival.
I mean, I'm not cooking. I'm asking the jug to do stuff.
If you're just making mayonnaise, that's all.
I'm not making mayonnaise. I'm making a white. I'm asking the jug to make a white wine. It doesn't.
Oh, white
it
wine.
says it can make
okay.
wine. Yeah, a white wine that would go well with the fish.
I thought you said something about it. Sorry, I misheard you. I thought you were talking about
No. Like to go along. No, a drink.
It's just always referred to the jug that can make mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it's called. It's like the alchemy jug.
Yeah.
But,
Just before we kill the
forgot to have
fish,
that
will
jug.
cast Awaken on it to have it suffer. No.
Oh God! Jesus!
No, it's already dead. That wouldn't work. Besides, that takes an hour of constant contact.
Yeah.
I can awaken it and make it retort.
You done awakening that fish yet? I'm starving.
Oh, that makes me think of soul sandwiches in Adventure Time.
Yeah, she'll hand out the fish and thank Kel for the wine. And, yeah. Have a lovely evening. watching dragon shenanigans.
Yeah, a couple of very playful young dragons. Just enjoying the contact with other dragons. As
Be
this seems
sleeping
to
here for the
be
night.
rather strange for them.
Is out of curiosity, is Will doing anything in particular while they're just chilling?
No, sitting down, eating fish,
Okay.
looking towards the south.
He's being less shady than normal. Something's up.
Nah, and Fader's curious about something and might ask him to take a watch with her because she's curious about something. That's all.
After a while, the two bronzes bury themselves in the sand nearby your fire.
I will also ask Amunet to take a watch of Shiori.
Oh fuck! Here we go.
She's a paranoid fucker.
Yeah, she is.
She still has the paper too. I don't think she gave it back to Kale.
No, she didn't. It's in her book.
The right to the right for arson.
No, the fucking
No.
the Viren list.
The sketchy list. Kale did tell Aminette that it was where he got it too.
Yeah,
I forgot to
yeah.
mention that. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So Fader will just say, "Everybody get some rest." Probably need to take watches. Will, you mind sitting up with me?
I'm already sitting, so I might as well.
All right. If
I'll take
people
a
wanna,
second watch if Amunet was down like that.
why you volunteer? Okay.
She did ask. It was like if you want to.
And she was okay.
Yeah. Kale's going to offer to finish off what's left of the wine with Meredith.
Meredith will happily
Like,
accept that.
Just like, I'll split the rest with you.
This is kind of ominous music. And there we go.
Ominous music.
I was like, There we go. That's better. So first watch, Fader will kind of just sit down next to Will. So when are you going to tell me how old you actually are?
I can tell you when I find out.
Why do you make yourself look younger than you are?
Make?
Or I've just noticed things over the years. Or wait, yeah,
it's been years.
over the years.
No,
It's
it's
been
not
years.
been years, but it's been a long time.
It has been years. At least a year.
At least a year. I just noticed it over the time we known each other. I guess I just didn't piece it together. Look much older whenever you fall asleep. I noticed in the bar and that magic field. Your hand looked like my mama's, very much older.
I don't do it.
Somebody do it to you?
I guess. Remember how I are not supposed to be here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that.
So
Probably
the
has
spell
something to do with it.
I'm sorry about that, by the way.
That's fine.
But I'm still glad you're here. I wouldn't have been able to have met you if you wouldn't have come back. But I understand your reason for why.
Yep. I'm sorry, I've had a lot of time to think about this, but I still don't know what to say about it.
About what?
No, but my situation.
Mm.
Why I'm so intent on my path.
Mm. Well, it might be time to start thinking about it. We don't know the outcome of this.
Sure we do. We either succeed or we fail.
That's rather black and white of you. Come on now.
Can you see a gray area?
Possibly.
Enlighten me.
Well, I feel like maybe there was something done. I mean, I don't see how the Tarston could be a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But maybe there's something that could be done with, fucking Galen or something. That maybe he was turned, or he wasn't inherently evil, wanting to do all this evil stuff. It seems like he just wants to get his family together. And I hate to sympathize with the motherfucker, but
I
I don't
gotta
know.
be honest, I don't really remember much of it, why he did it, but from my understanding, his family died.
Yeah, there's a son who was trapped in the sword, and then his daughter died. I believe that's what happened. But
Give
I
me
don't
an
know.
intelligence roll.
Oh, don't do this!
I mean, you'll do better now, right?
No, that was wisdom. Come on, roll well. That's a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. She'll just kind of whatever. But I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't. Yes. Do I want all this evil to go away? Of course. Do I want my wife to get justice for what was done? Of course. But I don't. Just recently, it just seems like what you saying. It's just not as cut like that. I feel like there is a gray area that is yet to be, seen.
Well, I can't see it now, but there should always be a gray area.
I agree.
And as to what happens, no matter what, I will not be here afterwards.
What do you mean?
I'm going to pass on.
Did you make some sort of deal?
No,
Okay.
I made a decision to pass on.
You're just going to let go.
Hell no.
Well, then what the fuck are you doing?
We've been dealing a lot with the souls of people, how they are being controlled by others. Yes?
Yes.
I once let go of my soul and it was forcibly put back in me. I didn't have a choice. Death is natural. And I understand that, but death makes your soul vulnerable. I will not have that vulnerability. I will pass on anyway. I will find the afterlife and stay there.
I'm doing my best not to be selfish and tell you not to. But if that's what you want.
It is what I want. In regards to my age,
Mhm.
I'm I have seen a lot of people die, and I envy them, and I miss them.
Favorite nods. I understand. Well, you old fucker, you better make this a fun end of the road. And gives him like a little nudge.
No matter what happens, I won't be here anymore, and that's the best of it.
I hope you get what you want in the end. And you
I
get to
will
see
make it happen.
Thank you, by the way, for. She kind of like makes a little motion with her hand. Thank you again for teaching me about the gray stuff.
It's all about the grey matter, and he kind of knocks your head.
What?
Ah, you wouldn't get it.
Apparently not. All right, let's go get the next fuckers. I need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
And she just smiles and watches Will kind of like go back to the campfire. She's got her own thoughts. But yeah, she's a little sad, but she understands. And she'll rouse, I guess, Shiori and Amanat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I guess I'll kind of step a little bit away,
Mm-hmm.
like where Phaedra and Will were keeping watch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make note of it when Kale did it, but when both of you looked at the three of us, found it quite odd.
I mean, I looked at you? What do you mean?
Kale, after reading something, or while reading something, specifically looked at me, Phaedra, and Will. And after walking over to you, after a bit, you did the same.
I mean, yeah, might have. I don't know.
May I ask why?
Hmm. I am a person of fact. And she kind of like just talks very like plainly and just like kind of pulls out her book. I'm a person of knowledge. I like discovering new things and research, as you know. I don't know yet. Therefore, I don't want to, I guess, make assumptions. Kind of like looks up for a second and then looks back at you, the eyes staring back at her. I want to make assumptions yet. I don't want to wrestle any jimmies. But no, I mean, out of character, like she has no looking at, but yet she doesn't like. She's just curious and doesn't know. She's like, I don't know. I will say this: if it endangers me, I will share with. I'll promise you that.
If you find it endangers one of us, could you please tell me as well?
Persuasion.
Boop.
She nods. Sure thing. I just don't like to, jump to conclusions.
I don't either. I find that jumping to conclusions. Well, if I had, I wouldn't be after Galen. I would have ended it when I thought Viren was the culprit at one point.
She kind of crosses her arms and you like a peer underneath her hood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do tell. What happened?
He was tricked by Galen.
Into
Opened a
doing.
portal.
Mm.
I don't know what it was originally he was wanting. He didn't pry into that. But Galen used him to test summoning something that he used later on to attack the city. But it is the reason why my clan is gone. Fully and completely, except for myself. And
So
now
this-
Phaedra.
So this portal, it had like a.
Fiends. They spoke infernal, but I don't know if they were actually abyssal creatures or not. They were smart enough, but not. They're more primal.
Describe them
Fire.
for me.
She'll describe them.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, DM, would those fiends be anything she would have come across working for the Lord?
Give me
Or-
a history check to see if you remember anything like that.
She's not the greatest, but we will try. 20.
It sort of makes you think about these weird assassins. Some kind of Yugoloths, perhaps?
So, yeah. It's possible that they were some sort of assassins, actually, too.
They just overran us. We weren't even expecting it.
I mean this no disrespect, Miss. Why would your area be so important, or so important, or your family, where assassins would be sent? I don't mean that disrespectfully, but
We were honestly a more private clan. Mostly only really dealt with one town, the nearest one. We've farmed, tended to the shrines of our fallen ancestors. It's really all we did. I was in training to become one who tended to the shrines. But that was not completed because of the attack.
I just find it curious if the sort of tribe are known as like assassins. It sounds more what you're describing with Galen. It's more collateral damage, but that doesn't add up. He was just testing something and they came out. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry that happened, she'll say.
If he did have any reason to, I don't know of it yet. The only reason that makes sense at the moment is he wanted to make sure his plan would go more flawlessly, so why not attack someone where no one would really pay attention to?
I guess that does make sense.
If there's more to it, maybe I'll find out.
Yeah. We'll let you know.
My goal is to keep everyone here safe.
You know, sometimes you can't keep everybody safe.
I'm very aware of that. That is why I wield this blade.
She kind of looks at I guess she never really noticed it before. Do you pull out the blade? Or do you just tap it?
Yeah, she'll actually, because she can at least bring out the shape of the katana, because that's the original weapon.
Yeah.
Bring it out.
Huh. Funny. She'll pull out her pack and pull out her old crossbows that I imagine no longer have the runes of square on them because they're no longer her blood hunter weapons and they're not imbued with power. She'll pull them out of her pack. Interesting. I used to have a similar power, not anymore. Respect. And she just kind of nods. And she just understands your connection to something larger than yourself.
Take care of yourself as well in this.
Oh, I always take care of me. She gives you a wink.
Yeah, and I don't imagine she's like, she probably wasn't really only glancing at Eminent, but she was definitely keeping an eye around.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
She's
yeah.
not passively perceptive as much as others.
Yeah, Almanet's pretty passive, so she could like talk. She's got the hood that keeps her face like magically in shadow, but you can see her like white, the silhouettes kind of just glancing every once in a while to the side. Like she's keeping watch. But yeah. No, she out of character. She has not that she didn't respect Shiori, but she understands that you are a tool or weapon for a a conduit for something larger as well. It was more prevalent with like Kale, who's got squeak and speaks about the patron, but I don't think with Amanet you've mentioned anything.
Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't switch her weapon like very often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah. She would just. Yeah. I don't think she'd really say anything else unless Shira did. She say I always take care of me and give you a wink.
I think that was all she has.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does anyone else have anything that they wish to discuss during watch time? I take that as a no.
That's a no.
Nope, I'm asleep.
All right. Well,
I'm asleep.
that sounds like it's enough for the session. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully, we'll see each other next weekend.
Yep, I'll be here unless I'm dead.
Yeah, that's basically my plan too. Night.